would like to recap?
Like,
our boat exploded.
Jesus.
I've been excited all week. I can't stress this enough.
What my very literate friend meant to say is quite a number of things happened to us in a very short amount of time. One of which being a massive sea serpent cutting our boat in half, tossing us all out to sea.
Right.
We also, from there, ended up on a shore alive, found the captain who unfortunately died. And we collected his locket to take back to Deus Undad with us when we reached there. We were found by what I've come to learn is called a selkie. A large otter man named Sham. Very sweet. Kind of terrifying. Took us to their home, which for the love of me I cannot say. Which is a driftwood city or village on the coastline where they collect the sea kelp out of the water. And they sing. It is the happiest place I've ever been to in my life. We were taken to Sham's home, where we met his wife Winifred, and soon after his daughter, Marigold?
Correct.
And as we were all talking amongst ourselves, a pair of feet fell through the ceiling of the house. We gave chase to the eavesdropper. I gave him a nice cloak made of ivy, which was not my intended objective. We were able to catch him, or more so the head of the village was able to stop him in his tracks, and now we are headed back to the little house to get soup for the eavesdropper, because that's how we handle eavesdroppers, apparently.
Right. Of course. Our little village, for anybody that would like to add it to their notes, is Pentref, Pentref. That's the first word. The second word.
T-R-E what? Sorry.
Tref.
Sorry, thank you.
Then the second word is just A-R. The A is capitalized. The third word is E, which is just a Y, lowercase y. And the final word is more, M-O-R, and the O has a little, one of the little pointy things up above it.
No accent.
Yeah, a little pointy accent above it. And the M is capitalized. The village is Pentref ar y Mor, which in Welsh is village by the sea.
It do be one of those for sure.
So, the DM finishes chewing a slice of pizza.
Hell yeah, brother.
Do that shit, son.
Juniper.
At the end of last session, I asked if I knew what the stranger was.
Yes. Everybody except Menda, make me a history or a religion check. Oh, and also except for our mystery person, because this is involving him.
Am I rolling something separate, or am I just not
Nope.
rolling?
You're just not gonna roll. We're going with the actual Fey folk on this one.
That's a 17.
17,
8.
19.
19. Both of our half-elf ladies, Juniper and Kyra, you have heard tales, legends, the oldest stories in the history of Bruen mention the two original peoples of this world. The giants were created on the material plane, here on this very island, which you now stand upon. And in another realm, close but not close to this one, in the Wilder Land, the Eladrin, the original elves, were created as well. They are the primordial elves, the elves that all other elves descend from. They are said to change with the seasons. They are free-spirited, and in many cases, people mistake them for spirits of the forest, which in a way they kind of are, but not in the same way a dryad or similar are. And standing right here in front of you is such a being, currently mimicking the beautiful springtime that you find yourselves in. Yes, Juniper.
At this realization, Juniper's face just lights up in like shock and awe, and she lets it get away from her a little bit. You're one of it. Where the heck did that go? Trying to do my southern accent.
Jacob and I are both doing Irish accents, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So very contagious, isn't it?
I can't do an Irish accent though. You're one of them there fair folk. You're one of the Eladrin. It is absolutely my pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Kyra kind of walks past her and is just like, he's just an elf.
Nah, man, he's an elf with horns. Dig it.
The horns are an interesting additive.
If he's just an elf, well, you're not gonna get out of these ropes. As I just tighten the ties on the wrists.
Rough.
So,
Jacob.
Yeah,
Can you do me a favor?
yeah, absolutely.
Can you make me a perception check, please?
I'd love to.
Can you get out of these ropes?
That was, oh gosh, where's my character? Had it hidden. Oop. Perception, you said?
Mm-hmm.
21.
21. Not a big deal. You kind of realize where you were at, and you got cornered, and it's like, all right, you helped fix a roof. Now they're offering to feed you, and the food smelled good. Your hands are still tied behind your back, and you feel this half-elf, slightly less refined looking half-elf than the other two women here. You hear the voice, but it doesn't come from where the head is. It comes from about a foot or so below that. But so you just mark that for later.
Mm-hmm. Golly gee, sure got me. Noted. Okay. My hands are tied. Where are we again? Sorry.
You're right outside the house that you
Right
all are
outside
about
the
to go
house.
into.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm just waiting for the time being.
He can't eat soup with no hands, by the way.
That sounds like a challenge.
Well, if you give it to him in a cup, he'll be able to just sip it.
Sham and Marigold and Winifred say, well, I don't think there's much need for that, but you know, honestly, he actually looks apologetically towards you and says, actually, I should have been up there and gotten that roof bolstered about 2 months ago, so you know, I probably shouldn't probably good that it happened, actually, because it's gonna give me something to do over the next few days. So
Kyle, can I insight check to see if he's just being nice?
what's your passive insight?
13.
Yeah, he's really he truly is happy because he's like, yeah, this gives me an excuse to do something I've been meaning to do for a while. But he is also just being very nice. They escort all of you inside, and you're back in the little cottage. Kyra.
Before we head inside, do any of us see or hear the carriage that you mentioned?
There's no carriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
I don't remember a carriage.
Yeah.
Okay. I will while we're walking in, I will walk
there
up
a
behind the horned one and cut his bindings with one of my knives.
Well, why would you do that? We don't know how safe it is. He might try to run off again and steal things.
Even if he runs off again, that's just less of our problem.
And it's honestly not as though you would catch me. You didn't the first time.
He'll kind of get in close to what's your character's name again? Kyra, right?
Kyra, yeah. She hasn't said her name, so you guys don't know
Well,
what her
yeah,
name
yeah.
is yet.
He'll go into her a little bit. He might be worth something. We gotta turn him into the authorities.
He's a person.
We can get a bounty.
He's a person.
I need money.
We can get work in Deus Undad.
I'm gonna lean in down next to Oma, right next to where the voice has been coming from, not next to where his ear is.
Just staring at his rib cage, just like
I'd love to see you try, little man. And I'm gonna stand up and go get myself some soup.
absolutely. Juniper.
Does Juniper see the odd interaction?
Depends on how sneaky
I don't have any kids.
the guy was trying to be. If he wasn't trying to be sneaky, then yeah, you would see this Fae being just kind of lean down and just stare at the rib cage of Menda. And it's like, that's a weird flex, but okay.
He got little.
Do I notice anything odd about Menda?
I mean, are you looking for something?
I mean, the dude just spoke to his ribcage. That's really
Yeah.
weird.
I mean, yeah. I guess that's true.
What, you never talk to your stomach when you're hungry?
No.
Sometimes it helps pass the time, you know?
No.
You know, I am known to have quite a vocal stomach. He might have thought I had some kids in there, but I swear I don't. It's just me. Ain't nothing in here. Just good old Menda.
Just good old Menda.
Okay, I'm gonna just like look confused at Minda
Yeah,
and then go and sit down.
yeah, for sure.
What would I roll to see if
I'm
there's
definitely
anything
gonna con
odd?
roll. I'm definitely.
I mean, if you're actively looking for something odd, make a investigation check.
Okay.
Can I deceive Kyle?
Yes,
I'm
you
not
can.
good at those. We'll see.
Damn. Should have done some practice rolls before I just rolled.
That's a 15.
I got
bad.
like what was that? 13.
13. I mean, he talked to his rib cage. That's weird, but you've also never seen an elf like this before, and they're known to be very eccentric. So he could just be weird.
I wasn't
Well, we'll get me some soup.
investigating. I was investigating Menda.
Yeah.
Okay.
You saw him talk to his rib cage.
Okay.
If that's weird to you, it's weird to you.
Well, what kind of soup is it?
It's
It's horseradish soup.
Oh
It
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. It's a,
Shrimp.
it's a
It
spicy
is.
root.
It
Spicy root
is
soup.
to give you the actual ingredients of the soup, because it is real.
It is real.
Ooh.
It is real.
I love that. Can you make
Um,
it, Kyle?
I haven't tried, but
Soup is good.
damn it.
What's
Damn
that
it.
line?
I've already finished a bowl, by the way.
Absolutely.
I'm working on
Um,
2 more.
Hot root soup is a very spicy soup dish favored by otterfolk. The main components of the soup are shrimp, leek, onions, and horseradish. Additional ingredients can include garlic, potatoes, starwort, bulrush, a lot of other weird little herbs and stuff that you don't see used a lot anymore. But I will get you guys I will put it eventually in the Discord. I'll take a picture. I have a cookbook with the actual recipe in it. So.
That's tight.
Yes, please.
But yeah, you're provided. And Jacob, go ahead and just make me a Constitution save.
Happily.
Is this gonna be considered like a time we'll get like a long rest or anything?
I mean, you would have gotten a short rest.
Okay.
And you'll get a. What'd you get, Jacob? 4 total.
You know what? Actually, fuck it. No. I'm not gonna use it on this. I rolled a 4.
Okay. It's delicious. You finish the first bowl, you're like, this is great, and you like just go over and get another bowl, and Winifred's like, oh, absolutely, there's plenty for everyone to have more than one bowl if you want. The rest of you, it's definitely the heat is still there. You finished your bowls not too long ago. Jacob, after as you're like on maybe your 3rd or 4th spoonful of the second bowl, that spiciness that was initially with it just is creeping up into your nose and getting further up there and further up there. And go ahead and roll me a d6, please.
This is really intense music for this moment.
1. What cantrips do you know?
Druidcraft and Gust.
Gus? It gets up into your nose, and you just go for a big sneeze. You cast Gust, and you knock Juniper off of her chair.
Hey!
This soup is delicious.
A full Aang Airbender sneeze.
That's quite the sneeze.
What was that?
That was a sneeze.
Magic.
Apparently it's a sneeze.
Have you not had a sneeze before?
This is really good soup.
Oh, well, thank you. Winifred's like helping Juniper up, like getting back into the chairs.
Well, to be fair, she does technically get to make a strength save.
That's true. You want to make a strength save?
DC
No,
14.
I
You could
have
go
a +0 to strength. She
Okay.
falls. She
DC
falls
14.
over.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, you but the soup is had, and everyone just kind of there's like a pause as everyone just watches this newcomer just make his way through a second bowl of soup. And actually, everyone except for Jacob, go ahead and make for me an insight check.
22.
13.
13,
22.
22,
12.
12. The two half elves again. And I think it's because I think more than anyone else here, the two of you, Kyra and Juniper, probably caught the not necessarily reverence, but the interest that Sham and his family, but also by extension the rest of the townsfolk had towards not just strangers, but Fey strangers. Fey folk, even half Fey folk is something that, you know, is even on this island, in this little village, which is clearly a turtle and an otter folk village. Other beings are not as common, and you tracked that when all of you came in, but you're now watching a family of otter folk see the difference between half Fey or descended from Fey and a true Fey being. And it's an interesting thing to watch as they are curious and just curious about the whole situation as it's going down.
I just lean forward and place a hand on Sham's like arm, and I'm just like, quite the difference, isn't it?
He says, "Oh, well, I take supplies and stuff down to Dinasundad every so often, and I've met elf folk and half elf folk before, but this is something new for me."
Having him in your house is a little bit different.
That's true.
And I'm gonna look over to the horned one and just kind of cock my head and just, well, do you have a name?
You lot aren't from around here, are you?
What gave it away?
I'm namely asking for a name.
Well, you don't
But also
actually-
the fact that I watched you pick yourselves up off the shores.
So you've been following us for a while.
Pardon?
Got it. Are you not comfortable giving us a name, or are you
Well, I've not.
worried I'm gonna do something heinous with it?
Always.
Well, I don't
I
see
don't-
what's the big deal. He's just a regular old guy.
No, he's not a regular old guy.
It really isn't, Menda. If you don't want to give us your name, what would you like us to call you?
That's the same thing.
No, those are very different questions. Somebody's been studying local cultures.
I may have gotten lost in the Feywild when I was a child.
Wilderland.
Wilderland. Sorry.
Well, I hate to break this to you all, but I've not a title to provide you.
So what? You want us to figure out one for you?
Well, I don't see why you would need one.
Good point.
Well, why'd you stay so hidden? Why didn't you just come up to us at the shore? You
Well, I was
obviously know
going
your
to.
way around here.
I was going to do some fishing, but then Sham approached you all, and well, things got a lot more interesting from there. So I decided to forego breakfast, and right around the time my feet fell through the ceiling, I was floating away to acquire some. So this was quite fortuitous.
It was kind of hilarious how your feet fell through the ceiling. We just immediately knew you were there. We were like, "Oh, who is that?" and it was you.
It's rude to eavesdrop, you know.
Is it? According to whom?
It's polite society.
Light society.
But I suppose you're neither polite nor societal, so.
Well, sometimes eavesdropping gets you information you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So I understand, but we
Every
weren't
time you
saying
speak, he
anything.
continues to look to where your voice comes from, not to the eyes.
Hey,
I just want to make that clear. No, they're not.
What you looking at? Do I got something on what? Got something on my shirt?
Ophalon, how do you feel about
Huh?
this
On my
stranger?
shirt.
What was that?
How do you feel about this stranger?
I don't know. The horns are pretty fetching, but he was watching us. That's kind of creepy.
That's how I feel.
Creepy. In what sense?
In like, not gonna yuck anybody's yum here or anything, but typically just kind of
Is it not?
just hanging out in the trees watching people is kind of weird.
Is it not a large responsibility to escort people in this territory?
Escort implies you have some sort
Your
of authority
territory?
in these parts, and you don't look like any of these folks. So
Since,
Well,
since
I-
when is
I'm
this
not
your
inclined to believe
territory,
you have
sir?
any authority.
I'm certainly at the top of the food chain.
Well, I think.
Well, I'd like to see you prove that.
I
I,
think.
I quite believe I had you tied up not something 20 minutes ago.
I should also
Doesn't seem
like to
very top of
remind
the food
you.
chain to me.
I should like to also remind you, Menda, that I let you tie me up.
I think he was simply just curious about a bunch of random people on the shoreline he's never seen before.
I also don't particularly care for how you're talking to us. Sounds like you're spoiling for a fight here, Chief.
I might be. It does sound a little
Ophalon,
more
I think
exciting than what's happened so far.
Ophalon, I think that he did something he would like.
I mean, I haven't had the chance to stretch since we woke up on the beach.
So I've got a question for you over there, old Faye, the old person. Why are your hands the way they are? Why are they so hard like wood? Like quite literally, I felt them creak like bark as I tightened that rope around your wrists.
That would be because they're made of bark.
And all of you
So
now,
if they were, yeah.
all of you now looking, you see probably by this point the second empty bowl in one hand, and you see the arm, both arms of this stranger, who has refused to give a name, and it is jagged. It is bark going up the arms. You can see, I believe there were root-like protrusions in some portions of it as well.
The knuckles are a little bit gnarled, especially
Yeah.
these ones set here. So you can see that there's,
Mhm.
upon closer inspection, there's actually like sharp, almost like breaks
Mm.
of bark that'll coalesce upwards when
Yeah.
it's clenched. The forearm, it moves with all the same definition and musculature that an arm would, but
Mhm. And
Woody.
Wood.
you know,
Yeah,
looking
there's like there's like a leaf or two on like
Barky, yeah.
each
Some
forearm
bark on there.
somewhere.
and it's definitely not
Brute-like.
the only place on this person where you see little bits of flora just kind of
Oh, yeah, it's
growing
everywhere.
in patches. Truly, as I said before, an embodiment of spring at this very moment. But spring in the forest, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Well, and I stand up and dust myself off and take my bow off of the floor and wrap it around my back and look towards Sham.
Hmm.
I need to get to Deus Undad as soon as possible. You know the way to Deus Undad. Would you be willing to take us there? Or take me if these ones don't want to go?
Sham just kind of looks up at you and he says, well, we could try and figure something out for that process, but we're gonna have to wait for the weather to improve just a little bit before we head off. Even traveling along the coast is slow going if the weather's not cooperating. But also, I mean, we're probably a good I'd say we're a good 400 miles. It's gonna take a while. We're gonna be on the little boat for a while, heading down the coast. So, I think when's the next lull? And you see he looks at a strange like simple circular calendar up sort of a thing, and he marks a pin with a string to a different point. He says, we could probably leave in maybe 2-3 days next time tide is right, and it'd be about a week and a half's journey to get where we're going. The boat's not fast, but we always have access to the shore.
There's no way that we could leave sooner.
Not if you want to make it there. Gotta wait for the wind to be right. There's no rowing on the sea. We gotta harness the wind.
I will like walk over to one of the windows in the room and just kind of twang the cord of my bow absentmindedly. Great.
Kyle,
Mm.
Would my character with his long time at sea, would he know the way to Dinas Undad?
So, absolutely. You knew basically where on the island you were. You rolled for that last session.
Yeah.
And you are on an island. South. It follow the coast south, and you will make it to Dinas Undad. It is at the southernmost point of the island.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, all you have to do is go out to the ocean and take a right.
Right. And would my like knowledge of like doing my shit, would I also know if we'd be able to just like, just troll the coastline down so we don't have to get deep into deep water?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like that's kind of what Sham is saying. Like the little boats that they have little fishing boats and they have little kelp retrieval boats.
Okay.
The little fishing boats are coastal skiffs. They are not made for the open water.
Right.
It's like in Assassin's Creed. If you take the little thing out into too deep a water, it just sinks automatically. But when you're along the coast, you have the wind on your side. I mean, you can go. Hyra, you walk over to the window. Make a perception check for me. the remaining clouds from the previous night's storm that saw your ship sunk in the Mor Crossi, the Sea of Crossing. You, for the first time since waking up on the beach, feel the gentle feeling of sunlight peeking through the clouds onto your face. And you look up, and this little gap in the clouds out kind of to the northeast, past the cliffs, and you're up high enough you can actually see a lot more of the sky now. And for just a moment, a break in the clouds, you see something beyond the clouds, something solid, something massive. Even at this distance, you can tell it's massive, but then the clouds pass in front of it again. And just gentle bits of light around the window again, but that particular portion of the sky does not become visible again.
Sham, you said that there was something in the sky, right?
Oh! And you see, he comes over and looks out the window, and he sees where you're looking. He says, "You might have caught a peek of it. The Citadel."
Of the Cloud Giants.
Yes. That is Caer Rawyr, which is Rawyr, the Cloud Citadel. That's where Nuada makes her throne. That's where the Cloud Giants and the Cyclops and other such creatures tend to live, and we can see it when the winds are favorable and the sky in that direction is visible. But this part of the coastline, we got a lot of clouds most of the time, so it's a rare treat to be able to see it unimpeded in the sky.
I have a question.
Perhaps I got an answer.
In this land, the gods just roam about, right?
So it's said, yes.
If one of them went missing, how would you start looking for him?
I don't know. I mean, some of them, like I said, Lady Nuada, or the Ogma, or a few of them, they're known to be up there in that citadel. And then he gestures in the direction of the sea, and he says, and the old man at the ocean, he's got his own citadel down there. It's towards the south as well. It's not that far from Dina Sundad. But some of the gods, you never really know where they are. So it's hard to tell where to look, I suppose. But they'd be the last ones you'd know were missing anyway. Always on the move.
Right. How about you?
Hmm?
And I'll
What?
turn on my heel and I'll look at the horned one. Your arms are made of wood. How about Ewan?
What the hell's a Ewan?
It's a tree. It's a tree. Because your arms are made of wood. Why don't we call you Ewan?
Well, I suppose that suffices.
Well, that'll work, because that way when he's being a pain in my butt, I can say, "You an asshole."
I just rubbed my face with my hands.
Oh my god.
I thought it was funny.
Oh. Yes, Juniper.
Juniper is watching all of this, and she's just kind of absent-mindedly messing with the ring on her finger, just
Yeah.
wondering where she's supposed to go from here and how she
Yeah.
ended up with this particular group of people.
No, for sure. I would say, just for shits and giggles, Juniper, just go ahead and just make me a flat dexterity check.
No modifier.
No mod. Well, your dex
Okay.
mod.
Okay.
Modification.
Okay, so with my dex modifier.
Yes.
Okay, that's a 6.
6.
No modding.
You're absentmindedly, you're thinking about this, and you're kind of looking at all these strange folk that you've found yourself around. Truly, a menagerie of fae. Just 3 half elves, a full elf, and a satyr walk into a fishing village.
That sounds
And-
like the start of a horrible joke.
Yes, it does.
It does.
But you're sitting there absent-mindedly playing with the ring, and you're able to turn it on your finger just fine. As you're absent-mindedly sitting there, you pull just a little bit as if you were pulling it towards the end of your finger, and it does not hurt you, but it does not move. It will only spin.
She just mutters to herself, what an odd little trinket he gave me.
Mm-hmm. Ophalon, you had your hand up as well.
Yeah, at the mention of her, Ophalon kind of perks up. Captain Sham, have you ever seen Queen Nuada out of curiosity?
He laughs and he says, "Well, the gods live around here, but it's not like they're coming down and checking on the little fishing village down
Yeah,
there."
I know. I'm just wondering if you ever seen her when you were out on your boat.
I can't say I've seen the Silver Queen herself. I don't, as far as I know, she's not one for leaving that citadel up there. But when I was down in Dina Sundad, and you hear Winifred on the other side just give a little sigh, and she, not this story again. And he says, I was, it was maybe 20 years ago, a little more. And I was down there working on the docks, trying to make a little bit of money before coming back up here. And I saw, and I looked out towards the ocean, and I could see somebody walking on the top of the water. I know it wasn't a sandbar, because there wasn't any sandbars out there. And I saw somebody walking on the water, and I saw the lift the arms, and the clouds began to go away, and then I looked back and he was gone, and I saw Manan, and I saw the old man of the ocean. I saw him out there just clearing the skies for the ships to come in. I sure did.
That must be something.
Oh, sure it was. Sure it was. Marigold, their daughter, chimes in and says, but they do say that if you can find a way to get to the citadel of Manan and Maclear, that he is open to giving audience if he feels like it. I wouldn't go on a stormy day, but you just have to be able to. And she just laughs a little bit. You got to be able to breathe underwater.
Well, that would be too hard.
And why is that?
Well, we can always train
Do you know how to
ourselves
breathe
over time.
underwater?
There's all kinds of spells we can learn, scrolls we can get from the local wizards.
He's got a point.
What?
There's plenty of scrolls and spells that we could use, I'm sure.
The local what?
if
Local wizards.
wizards.
I'm not from around here. I
No
don't know what
wizards
they've
in-
got. They might not have
There are,
one. They might have a
no
couple.
wizards.
fun fact, just for
Mhm.
everybody to know, there are no
Local
wizards
wizards.
in this world.
Yeah.
That type of you do not learn magic that way through equations and books.
What would
Magic
it be
is
called?
given to you.
Would
I
warlock
mean,
work instead?
honestly, what you're talking about right now, probably none of you have much context for. Actually,
If-
That
if-
sounds-
there the
What
you
are
would
you talking
probably
about?
if you were looking for somebody to augment magic for nature. And like breathing underwater, you would probably ask a cleric or a druid to help you in those situations.
So imagine I said those options instead
There we
of
go.
those.
right.
Perfect.
Well,
Yeah.
if a bow can give me the ability to, and I will take a stone out of my pocket and flip it in the air and use magic stone, and it
Hmm.
starts to glow a deep like purple color,
Mm.
and then I put it back in my pocket. Then I'm sure that that someone can give me the ability to walk on water or breathe under it.
I mean, sure, but it's like I said, you definitely have to be able to breathe under there because, I mean, we otter folk, we can hold our breath for quite some time, but even we couldn't make it down to the throne room. It's pretty far under the water.
Kyle, they wouldn't know this, but would Grung be able to get down there?
What's the rule on Grung? Is it an
They
hour?
can just breathe underwater. They have to spend an hour underwater a day.
Yeah.
Or they'll get exhausted.
If it says you can breathe underwater, then yeah, Grung would be able to get down there. No
Yeah,
problem.
you can breathe air and water, and the only thing is water dependency, where I have to submerge myself for an hour.
Right.
Or immerse myself.
I will say though, and just for your purposes, Paul, based on
Yeah.
your backstory and stuff, you definitely
Mhm.
can breathe underwater. Swimming and diving and breathing in the ocean is a little different than swimming and breathing in a freshwater source for you. You are
Right,
not a
right.
saltwater creature.
It would hurt a lot, but I might be able to get it done.
It doesn't necessarily hurt. It's a lot more difficult to change for you especially to change your buoyancy to actually
Right,
swim
right.
down in the ocean because of the salt content,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
much different than a stream or river. You got light bones, my dude. You're a frog man.
No, that's okay.
Oflong goes like, and then he reconsiders and he just goes,
What?
Do you have something to add, Ophalon?
I was gonna say you could just hold your breath, but you gotta be able to talk. So
You almost
That's
have to be able
true.
to hold your breath for a considerable amount of time.
hey man, I've seen some people do it. People say that oh damn, what's his name? Shit. And he just kind of sits there and just keeps doing this.
Juniper just
Well-
takes his hand.
Do you know?
But please stop.
Bornon.
But-
Bornon
Stop.
said he could hold his breath for 5 minutes, and he went and swam in the lake.
That's
He never came back up. So as far as we're aware, he's just part fish now.
I think your friend. I think he died.
I mean, we never found his body. They sent his brother down there, and he didn't come back either. So
Or something ate him.
Where? My accent's gone.
we did catch a really big crocodile a couple months later, though.
Oh, I was about to say, where are you from? Because
Maybe
you
he
might have
was
had
dead.
some predators. Did you find any remains inside of its gut?
Nope.
Wow, he had some. How long between catch and the loss of your two friends?
Well, it was about 3 months.
That makes sense.
But if my brain helps me
Them
out here, I
crocodiles
think
sure do got some intense guts.
I think being
I
eaten
think
is my least favorite way I'd die.
I think Boranon was supposed to go on trial. I can't remember for what though.
Ewan,
On,
is it true
on
Eladrin
trial.
eat people?
What?
There's a story when I was a kid that the fair folk ate people. I've never had a hankering for people, but I gotta ask.
I don't know. I find myself particularly hungry in this room of people.
Right.
Well, I don't know what that means. I think I'm gonna need a better answer, or you
It
might
sounds
end
like
up
he needs
tied
a
up
bowl of
again.
soup.
I got more rope. You only cut a little bit.
Doesn't matter how much rope you have, it won't be enough.
At about this time, as this part of the conversation is kind of happening, there's a knock at the door of the little driftwood cottage, and Winifred says, "Don't bother yourselves, dears." And she goes over and opens it, and there is another more middle-aged otter woman out here, and they start having a kind of conversation at the door. Marigold kind of gets a slightly creased look on her face and kind of goes over to see what's going on. Sham is still talking with all of you about the gods, and he says, you always think that maybe someday you might be able to meet, especially living around here, that you might be able to meet one of the divine folk out there, but there's a lucky few for that, I suppose. The door shuts, and Winifred and Marigold have a little bit of a conversation by the door, and come back over to all of you. And Winifred just gives us a smile, and she says, well, dears, it looks like Turna and the rest of the village council want a bit more of an introduction. Turna has met all of you, but the council of elders would like a formal introduction to the guests. So we should, and also I think she offered to have you all stay in the lodge for the night. So we would love to have you here, but we do not have that many rooms. Yes,
Kyle, I have a
Mendo.
quick question.
Oh, yeah.
Is this customary for new just visitors to a village to have to go see?
I mean, yeah,
council?
like going, it's like, especially in villages where they are pretty insular and isolated,
Mhm.
visitors is a big deal. It doesn't just
Right,
happen all the time. Most of the people that ever see outsiders are people like Sham that go down to the capital every once in a while.
Right. Those that
but-
travel to, or those
yeah.
from Dinasunda, that kind of
Yeah, yeah. Because like these these folk, this is a very insular community of otterfolk and turtles that are living up here harvesting kelp. They have this idyllic little cove where they can grow like a massive farm of this kelp and harvest it.
Right.
They don't need to go anywhere, and other people don't need to come up here.
They kind of just coexist on their own.
Yeah, and you do know this, Minda, as one of the few members of this group that have actively been around this island before. This
Mhm.
island's dangerous. There's a reason you spend most of your time on the coast or on a ship and not traveling
Right.
across the island itself. Juniper.
Listening to the conversation about the gods and the giants. Is it Cham?
Sham, Sham.
Okay. Sham, you gods and giants are a regular occurrence around these parts. She's still kind of absent-mindedly twiddling with her ring. What about Archfey?
Oh, well, not in my experience, but, out in the deep woods, beyond the mountains, I mean, say anything goes there. They say that some of the groves there touch the wilder land, and some of the groves there touch the other world of the spirits, and some of them touch all three of them at the same time. So, it's possible, I suppose. But most of those archfey, they tend to stay in the wilder land more often than not. But if you were gonna try to get there, this would be the place to do it, I suppose.
How do you mean?
Well, like I said, this island is... This island isn't... And you see Sham... And what's interesting, too, is, like, Sham is a simple fisherman in a little village. But you see he knows these stories, and he knows these tales, and he has all of this lore in his head, and you see he just says, they say that Ayara isn't really part of Bruin. It's sort of its own place. It's a little bit on Bruin, it's a little bit in the wilder land, it's a little bit in the other world. It's in all three places at once. And like I said, if you were trying to get to one of those other places, this would be the easiest place to do it.
Why would you want to go?
Not necessarily anywhere around here. I mean, we're just a little fishing village, but like I said, you never know what's out there in the deep wood.
Don't go chasing Archfey.
That
Dangerous.
is
Yeah, you don't
probably
want to
true.
chase things where you can't at least get to some easy water. You got to be able to keep yourself hydrated.
Nenda is a firm member of r/Waterbreath.
R/water grun.
Yeah.
You seem oddly fascinated with water for a half elf.
Well,
That is
maybe
the
he
essence
loves
of
it.
Water is good for you.
Maybe he's just in love with it. I've met people who are in love with the sea.
Walter? What? Walter?
Water?
Water.
Water?
Water! Have you had it?
Worder? Worder?
Hello, Werner.
Water.
You're gonna drink a tall glass of water.
is the essence of life, and if you don't have it, you're just gonna die. You need to have water at all times.
Turning back to Kyra to answer their question. I'm here to find someone. So
Well,
Well, don't be fun. Don't go. God fucking damn it, Paul. Don't go and look for Archfey.
get that mic
They
a little
are-
closer to you there, Valerie.
Is this better?
Yes.
You're just gonna have to like sing to us each time, like you're on stage.
Stop it!
This is me.
Don't be going after the Archfey. They're dangerous and they do questionable things with your life. They're scary, and that's the last thing that someone like you needs.
Have you ever heard of the concept of a monkey's paw?
can't say that I have.
That it's kind of like what dealing with an archfey is like. You might get one of the things you want, but something else is gonna go wrong. It's never quite what you think it should be. The archfey are much better left alone.
Fortunately,
Respected.
No. I made a promise, you see, to find this particular person. I don't really have much choice.
Well, who's the lucky guy?
Maybe if we find your person, I'll be able to find mine.
Perhaps.
I doubt it.
Well, all I knows is the first place to go if you're looking for anybody on this hunk of rock we call an island is Dinas Undod, because that's where most of the folk that aren't from here are. So we'll get you down there. But for now, I think the Council of Elders wants to have a word. So
Right, we don't want to keep them waiting.
as you all are being ushered kind of out to head towards the lodge, which is truly a 2.5-minute walk, I want everybody to make an insight. Actually, no, I need everybody's passive insights.
14.
14.
13.
16.
16.
Fuck you!
What did Paul get?
13.
And what did Travis get?
10.
Yeah.
10 is my passive.
Ewan, as that is what these folk have taken to calling you for now, or at least one of them. As you are all, and I presume kind of just following the motions at this point, just like, all right, well, this is interesting. Let's see what's going on.
Indeed.
As
I can
Sham
do this,
is kind of ushering all of you out the door and headed over to escort you over to the lodge, Winifred and Marigold are continuing to have a kind of whispered conversation, and you see Winifred just has a look of worry on her face, and as the door is being closed behind you, you just see a wetness like tears on Marigold's face. You all are brought out into the square of this town and brought over
Yeah,
to
the
the
square.
lodge.
Oh, okay.
Brought over to the lodge. There are many doors and many windows on this massive driftwood stump that is just sat in the center of this village. And as you head inside, you see a grand hall just built into this. They've burned it out, so it's fire hardened on the inside and scorched, and it's a nicely lit sort of grand hall, lots of candles and sconces and little lanterns along the walls. You see staircases carved into the side that head up to another floor up above you. And in this grand hall, you see a simple ring of 5 chairs at the center. Tourna is standing in front of her chair and gives a wise old smile, kind of nodding as all of you are entering. And the other 4 chairs are occupied. 3 other turtles, one of whom is fairly young, but the other 2 look Tourna's age or older. Very, very, very wrinkled turtle faces. And then the 5th chair is occupied by a young male otterfolk, who's just kind of sat, looking kind of at the edge of his seat, like tapping his foot on the floor. Sham just kind of gives you all a nod and gestures forward, looking as if you're meant to walk into the center of these chairs and let the circle be at the center of this circle, and Sham just kind of waits off on the edge. Juniper.
I'm gonna be right back. I need to run to the bathroom.
Okay. 5 minutes before we start this little thing. 5-minute break then.
Okay.
Just,
Okay.
we call it good, yo. What the fuck was that noise?
I'm not gonna lie. Menda might raise some hell if it goes south.
Oh. Why would it go south? Everything's good. Travis snapping his fingers as he opens up the Satyr name generator.
No, actually, no. I literally pulled that name from my brain. Couldn't tell you what the name was if you put a gun to my head, though.
It was like bobbing on or something like that.
Your
friend-
Bogdanovich.
Your friend Bob, basically, is what I got out of that.
My satyr friend Boban.
Yeah,
He was about 7'8", talked with a very thick accent.
he got killed with a book. My friend Boban got killed by a book.
What on earth must have been the circumstances that led what is his last name? Bogdanovich?
No, the one that was in John Wick is Boban Marjanovic.
Boban Marjanovic. What are the circumstances that led Boban Marjanovic to have not only a role in a John Wick movie, but lines? And like a fight scene with John.
Yeah.
The first fight of the movie is with Boban in the library.
And he gets a couple hits in.
Yeah. And he walks around the corner reading Dante's Inferno.
He does.
What are the circumstances that led to that role? I would love to know.
I truly don't know. Who directs John Wick?
It's David Leitch now. I just love because he's reading the line and then he holds up the book and he goes, Dante.
Is that in John Wick 2 or 3?
3.
3.
It's John Wick 3 when he's running out the clock on his kill contract.
Right.
I'll be right back. No, I just love when he holds up the book and goes, Dante.
Right.
I'll be right back. Look yet on the conundrum of why Boban was in John Wick 3.
Working on it. Let's see. Oh, there's
water.
Hold on. What does this say? The other question: why did director Chad Stahelski want the Serbian who had never acted in anything other than a commercial? I love playing with size differentials, Stahelski told.
Chad Stahelski, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fed them earlier. No. Go ahead, Kyle. I'm listening.
I love playing with size differentials. I'd wanted size And in the second movie, we'd have a very famous sumo wrestler come in from Japan and be a part of it. So I wanted the scale difference of height. And our producer Basil Iwanek was a big basketball fan and introduced me to Boban, who technically has the largest hands in the NBA. And we thought that was really interesting. So we contacted him and he was very game for it. And then he was really worried that he was going to kick Keanu in the head, and he didn't want to because he thought Keanu was too nice of a guy.
Just kick him in the head.
Hold it down still.
Teddy says kick him in the head.
No. Bounce, bounce, bounce.
Yes.
Also, that's hilarious.
Yes.
And his death is great. Like, he fucking...
He gets beaten to death with a
throws him
book.
down onto...
He
throws
did
him
get
down onto
beaten
the
to
table
death
and
with a
then
book.
fucking... He, like, breaks his trachea with the giant book.
Yeah.
Well, no, the book was like in his mouth. Yeah.
The really big
Big
dude
dude in
that
the
John
library.
fight...
King
the really
Kong's
big
his
dude
ass.
that the John fights at the start of the movie is actually, like, a famous basketball player.
Yeah, it's
The
Bobby.
really big dude in the library, right?
Yeah.
Paul,
It's
Boban
Boban
Marjanovic.
Marjanovic.
what
He's
does
7
Minda look
foot
like
4.
right now?
I apologize if I have to get up a lot.
No, you
Small
good.
bean.
Go.
Paul,
Not breathing, don't
what
breathe.
does Minda look like right now?
Minda?
Mhm.
Minda looks like a he's about probably like 4 foot, 4.5 foot. He's like a half elf, probably like halfling, half elf kind of thing. He's got kind of like a blonde Caesar kind of haircut with some seafaring garb and a tricorn hat with a feather in it. He's pretty regular otherwise. He's got pretty big calves though. Calves large.
I'm gonna try and find art for you.
Pretty big
He looks
calves,
really basic.
though.
This is he looks like the everyman is the thing. That's one thing that I'm gonna say that he can never
Half elf
hide
pirate,
that well.
half elf sailor NPC number 2.
Yeah, he can just fit in anywhere.
Number 2.
Number 15. The number 15 is no.
Can I have
Burger
the
King
number
food, that is.
15?
Top 20 numbers. Number
I
9.
just wanted my cheese.
I love that
Got
show.
cheese.
I have no idea what
What
you're
is his
quoting.
ethnicity?
God, I love
Smiling
Smiling
Friends.
Friends.
They canceled Inside
Minda
Job.
is white right now.
Yeah, I saw that. Did you watch the Smiling Friends Christmas special, Kyle?
I haven't gotten to watch it yet.
It is the best, like, 11 minutes of anti-comedy I've ever seen.
Oh, wonderful.
He looks like he's been at sea too. Like he's got like the Caesar cut with like a beard, you know. Got some scars and stuff.
And I now need to look up what a Caesar haircut looks like.
You know the old Greek emperor?
Yep.
That.
So a terrible bowl cut.
I mean,
No. Caesar. Like his haircut.
Yeah, it was a bad bowl cut.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a bad bowl cut. It just didn't have
I literally
just
typed
didn't
in
have a
Caesar
peanut.
haircut.
clipper, so they couldn't get a lineup. There were no lineups in ancient Greece. I want like a classic one, not
Hello.
these fucking models and shit.
This is what the internet is telling me a Caesar haircut looks like now.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if you found like a hot guy, I'm gonna be mad.
Not a hot
Why
guy.
you gotta find
No.
that guy? Amongst all the hot guys, you find the one ugly man.
Look at this fucking chud.
That
The
man's
one-
name is
one
Thad.
uggo. His name.
Oh
his
my
game-
God.
He plays GTA still every day.
That's what you're.
This dude's from
Archie looks
GTA.
like-
Here. I've got a better one.
That absolutely looks like like an NPC from Grand Theft Auto.
What is this called?
Amazing.
Gods, Giants meme. We'll see how it comes through, if the picture comes through. You might have to click that link, but that's more what it looks like a
Got
regular
it.
person's haircut, not
Got
a
it.
fucking,
Oh,
not
God.
not
Got
a
it.
guy who says the N-word on Xbox Live.
The
Mendicart,
guy who says it on
I'm
MTV.
sorry.
Mendicart out here looking like fucking Mandark.
Oh.
All right.
How hilarious.
Now that we are returned,
Jeez.
all of you brought into the center of the lodge. Dorna is standing in front of her chair and just kind of gestures towards the center of the circle as you all file into this space. It's strange because you can't look at every member of this circle as this at the same time. So it kind of keeps you turning your head around in this space. But Torna is still standing as she looks and gives that warm smile. And she says, "Well, we have ourselves some visitors to our little village. And already they have made friends of some family here in town. And then she gestures towards Ewan and says, and also helped in the fixing of a roof. So we're very already quite pleased with the interactions that we've had with all of you." She raises her arms, and the other members of the circle also raise their arms and then lower them, and Turna sits in her driftwood chair, still smiling warmly, and she says, "So, we have been told that the majority of you were found on the rocks of the coast, having sailed in a ship bound for the southern tip of the island. But I must ask all of you, is Dinas Undad your final and expected destination of this journey?"
I think it's more of a starting point.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
I had some
Most of
things
us.
stolen from me that I might be able to find down there. So after that, I'm back to what I was doing before.
Very well. The young male otter folk, you just hear him, and he gives out like a bark type voice, which is unexpected. And he says, "Well, what brought y'all here? Why'd you have to come? Why couldn't you just head it off down the coast? You
We
hear,
got shipwrecked.
you hear,
Serpent took our ship down.
you hear a couple chuckles around. Turna just says, "Don't mind Real Flag. He is he's a suspicious one. It's like, I have a right to be suspicious. Strange fey creatures just coming out of the water, showing up. That sham bringing them here. We do just fine on our own. You hear one of the other turtles.
There's strange folk abroad.
Yeah. A young woman, or a young female turtle, who says, we should be a bit more patient, Real Flag. Your suspicion serves us well in certain times, but right now you're just being rude to guests. And you see here Real Flag just kind of and like crosses his arms and he says, there's plenty to worry about without having to worry about strangers in our midst.
Well, if I may, Mr. Real Flag, if you don't really want a lot of strangers in your village, I'm not really one for staying too long anyway. If you were to perhaps be able to lend us a vessel, just a coastal faring vessel, I'd be able to get us out of here no problem. We'll be out of your hair here in a day or two.
While we stay, like we could provide any kind of benefits that we are able to do with our various skills. I myself am pretty handy with a set of bagpipes.
Bagpipes?
Can I try to persuade Kyle?
Yeah, you can make a persuasion check. I mean, Sham has already offered to take you guys down in his boat.
Yeah, but if we can get a free boat, I always want a free boat. Why is it only rolling 8, but I got a +6? That gives me what is it, 14? Yeah.
With a 14, Real Flag kind of he piped it. If it gets you gone, it gets you gone. I don't see why not. I've got an old boat you can take. Torna says, it matters not if they take Sham's boat or if they take a boat or your boat or if they take both boats. They cannot leave for at least 2 days. So we're going to treat them with respect while they're here, and then when they leave, we will also continue to treat them with respect. Won't we, Real Flag? Real Flag just crosses his arms again, and he just kind of gives like a little harumph.
Ophalon looks over at Real Flag and he goes, come on, man. You don't even know us, and I'd certainly like to take the opportunity to get to know you. Give us a chance, and I'd like to also roll persuasion.
Go for it.
Two bards doing their opposite type bard things.
That's a 21.
21.
One rolled way better than the other.
Yeah, you see, he just like he gives the harumph and he listens to what you say and he just kind of sinks back into the chair and he just stops. He's still grumpy, obviously, but he just kind of stops causing problems with this conversation. And
just goes, that's the spirit.
You hear just a creaky, reedy voice from an elderly male turtle seated in one of the other chairs. And he just says, you have to forgive Real Flag. He is simply worried for the safety of our people. And I do not think that any of you are particularly dangerous, but there have been some strange goings-on of late, and new problems to deal with would be most unwelcome indeed.
What strange
Certainly
things have been
don't want to bring
happening?
any problems.
What did you say?
I said.
What did Travis say?
Okay.
I was saying, well, we certainly don't want to cause any further problems.
Okay.
Certainly no more holes in thatch roofs.
Cairo, what were you saying?
What type of weird things have been happening?
Purna, she kind of speaks up again. And she says, "That is partly the reason why I wanted to have this little gathering, because, well, the folk of this village are not magic folk by any stretch of the imagination. We are farmers and fishermen, and we do have simple lives, and there are a few of us." And you see she just kind of waves that turtle claw-like hand and over her driftwood chair, and you see a druid craft as some simple vines grow up the side of the driftwood, and she just says, "Some of us here in this council are blessed with certain connections to the land and have a bit of magic, but for the most part we are, well, most of us, our better years are behind us. The only exceptions being Real Flag and young, I have a name thing, and young Gare here," and she gestures to the young female turtle. But having strange folk is not, or strange folk around as guests in your village is not necessarily a bad thing when they clearly have a bit more to them all than meets the eye. You ask what sort of strange things? In the past month, about once or twice a week, we have been losing young folk from the village. Young maidens of the village. The first few we thought, because a boat was missing, that they left for Dinas Undod, and they might well have. But when the last two went missing, there was no boat gone. They left to get water in the night and never returned to their homes. And you see she gets a little bit quieter and she says, "And last night, it happened again."
That's just awful.
DM turns down the music for himself a little bit. She says, stayed on that page. There we go. Turna nods and says, "Yes, very awful. As I said, when it was 2 or 3, it made sense that they were young and impetuous and decided to run off and see someplace new. But now that it's happened again, I am beginning to worry that something is preying on our young ones."
Well, this might sound a little out of place, but I might already have a suspect.
All of the elders' heads just like just turn towards you, and they're like, "Oh."
Well, you see, because Jacob's character's with us, right?
Yeah.
Well, you see, this one right here is what do you call it? An eldrin. And Apparently, there are stories about them eating children. So, the suspect number one is him. I say we see
I
what
think you just.
he's got to say.
I think you might just want to get money out of this. We have no reason.
Man, if we're gonna
suspect
do
that
this
he might
right,
be
it should
eating
be
I-
done right for justice's sake, man.
I did not ask for a penny. I just asked.
Yeah, but that was the reason why you wanted to tie him up in the first place.
Well, that's not the case. I just think if the youngsters are being taken from y'all, because we all know that they are our future. I think that suspect number one, at least, is this one right here.
Oh, what a good musical cue. Juniper.
God, due to my Fey Lost background, would I know if those stories were true?
I would say that you haven't you know of Eladrin. You've never interacted with them, so to you most of it is still stories. So there's no real way to parse, because a lot of that initial first trip to the Wilderland for you, when you were a child, you forgot for a long period of time. And there are still bits and pieces of it that are fuzzy. So I'm gonna say that you just don't know for sure. You have a sneaking suspicion that there's definitely some exaggeration to those stories, but you do know, especially from your old caretaker Bronwyn, who told you many a time that nothing in the Wilderland is truly safe for a mortal person, if that makes sense.
No.
Let's see.
Well, then all she's going to say is, I really don't think those stories are true. It's really rude of you to be just accusing somebody you just met of something so horrific.
Well, let the man decide for himself and defend himself if whether or not this is something that's true. You're
I
in for
agree.
the last 2 weeks. Where have you been?
I've been in the forest, and I wouldn't hunt children. They don't put up much of a fight.
You hear a real flag just kind of behind, just, was that supposed to be a joke?
No, they don't. Have you ever fought like a bear cub? They're not very
No,
feisty.
no, I have not. Yeah.
You don't hunt the young of a creature. You hunt the elder, because of the amount of meat that you can get from it.
You all know we're full people, right?
Right. But
Yes,
from a
no,
hunter's
I'm-
perspective,
What I'm trying to impress upon you is I would
Yes, that does.
be stealing your children. There's no reason for me to do so.
Hmm.
They're not.
Okay, I think we should let the elders decide before we say too many things that
You're the one who started this.
y'all are just like making it worse though.
You're the one who started
it.
I mean, we're only here because of you, man. Like,
Torna just kind of waves her hand and she says, I have lived a long enough life and know enough about the Fey folk, at least the Fey folk of this variety. And she gives a little nod over towards Ewan. and just says, certainly dangerous in the right circumstances, absolutely, but I do not believe that one such as this would be hunting the children of this village.
I hunt bears and wolves and bears sometimes.
It's pretty good.
They're quite delicious.
Can be a little gamey though. You gotta cook it right.
Put it in a stew.
Smoked.
No. Put
I
it in
always
stew.
love me a good smoked pike.
Fuck is smoking?
You guys
You,
are
you,
getting
you,
distracted
you build a
again.
box with a fire in it.
You're all
And you
getting.
put the meat
Shut
in it,
up.
and then it gets all that stuff.
Jesus, Lord heavens
Excuse me, I
and
was
the
trying to
skies.
speak. I was trying to answer the question.
This question doesn't need to be answered
Says you.
right now. Save it for later. We are in the middle of all of the elders of the village that welcomed us with open arms. How about we show them a little bit of respect? Cool. Awesome. All right. What would you like us to do in order to help you find the people that have gone missing?
Kurna was like just finishing the end of her last sentence, and she like kind of slow blinks and is like, right. So I would, well, we, and she gestures to the whole circle and just says, we would gladly take any assistance you could possibly give us into finding out what might be happening. As I say, the last one to go missing was last night, before you all arrived this morning. And the last thing we know is that she went in the late evening to fetch water from the well. And according to her mum and dad, she never came back to the house. And all of these are that they're these incidences they have described to you all are like young, like older teen to young adult, aged women of young women of the village. Mostly and all of them are otter folk.
All right. I have an idea. And I will like tip my head to the others, to the elders, and then turn on my heel and head towards the door.
Okay.
Yeah, I have another question too.
She catches up to this other half elf and taps her on the shoulder and like whispers, we're just normal folk. How can we possibly help with something like this?
I'm good at one thing, and that's hunting. And tracking things down.
Is Kyra the kidnapper?
I'll do my best to help, but I really don't know what all I can do.
Can you disguise yourself?
Maybe? Question mark.
If we find the culprit, I can frighten them.
Out of character, looking at my +7 to deception.
Jesus!
Menda, did you have something you wanted to ask the elders before you left?
Yes, I did. While they start walking away and having this conversation,
Yeah.
Minda kind of like sticks back a little bit, and he kind of turns to them and asks, "Well, has seeing as what was his name, Rifflebag? What's his name?
Real flag.
Real Flag. Okay.
Yeah.
Seeing as Real Flag isn't very trusting of outsiders or newcomers and people of Fey ancestry, I'll kind of just ask, well, has anybody else, any other outsiders and Fey ancestrals come through the area lately?
Real flag kind of looks around, looks at you, and uncrosses his arms for a second. He says, "No, not leastways not in my lifetime. So this is a big event for this village, having all of you in here. So
I turn back and I say, and we appreciate the hospitality.
Surely we do.
Sham is a wonderful man. He did just offer us a hand without even asking for anything.
Is a trusting sort. And that is not necessarily a bad thing. Forgive my manners, but I'm looking out for my people. I hope you can understand that."
You protect your own. That's an honorable thing.
I can understand that. Looking after your people's hard, especially once they start going missing. I can feel that. Now, my last question, and I'll leave you elders doing your eldering. You said a couple of them had gone missing, and a boat had gone missing as well. Did they go a particular direction off the coast so that we can kind of see if they have anything that way as well?
We don't know. We never found the boat.
Well, all right. I guess we'll have to see what we can find.
I'll say it's down on the docks, behind the tackle shop. That's where the boat was stored. Maybe that's where the boat went missing from, I should say.
Suppose we
maybe.
can ask around.
Indeed. Yeah. And all of you exit the Elder's Lodge here. You're approaching you're approaching maybe 1 or 2 in the afternoon at this point. Actually, maybe more like 2:30, something like that. But yeah, there's a well that is in a different part of this kind of residential portion of the village. There's something going on down at the docks. As all of you exit out of here, Sham just kind of has a troubled look on his face, and he says, "Oh." And he has kind of a like this sad expression, and he says, "I just heard from me missus. It was my daughter's friend Mira that went missing last night."
I place a hand on his arm and just, we'll find her.
I certainly hope so. And he just kind of gives you a little smile and like squeezes your hand, but that look of worry does not go away on his face.
Can you give us the directions to the well so that you can go back to your work?
Right. Just down there around the bend, and this kind of residential area of the village is built the way that it's built is there's the lodge at the center, and then the residences are in like half circles going in both directions. So there's like little cobblestone streets between each of the rings. And the well that he points you to is about 2 streets to the north of here, which is the primary well of the entire village. It's just, as with most things, it's just the place where the well had to be. They didn't really get to choose and have another one on the other side of the village.
That's about right.
So yeah,
Paul
he
looks
points
so
you down.
high.
Yeah. What?
Paul just looks so high right now.
Yeah.
Me too,
Hey man,
brother.
I'm thinking about what my next move is.
But yeah, he points you in that direction, and he kind of gives you all a little wave, and he says, well, I know that the elders are going to give you some sleeping quarters in the lodge, but if you're looking for supper before you turn in for the night, there's always more soup to be had by over with me and the missus. So
Make sure Marigold doesn't head out tonight, okay?
I think that's probably for the best. And he will turn and kind of take out his little walking stick and just walk back towards the cottage.
I'm gonna turn to the rest of the group,
Mm-hmm.
and I have an idea.
I heard a little bit of something about that. Go ahead and tell us more.
If one of us is really good at either illusionary magic or something of the likeness, if we can make ourselves look like one of the alder folk, we can probably set a trap. And I'm really good at tracking once things go, once a trap is sprung.
Well, if we're needing somebody to look like somebody else, well, who's the shortest member of the party other than me?
I think it's Kyra.
I'll you see him kind of wipe his brow seems to always be wet. Kind of wipes it. right at the top of his, right at the base of his cap is like tricorn hat action, and he'll cast disguise self and disguise himself to look just like Kyra as close as he could.
Yeah, you watch as Menda just kind of activates this glamour magic, and you watch as he just shifts, and he is it's disguise self.
Correct.
So
I can read it to you if you want me to.
Yeah, what does it? Yeah, read me the
you
spell
make yourself, including your clothing, armor, weapons,
Yeah,
and other
that's all I
belongings
need
of
to
your
know then.
person.
Yeah,
Yes.
so another version of Kyra, all the same kit, everything is there. The only difference, Paul, want to let him know the only difference between, except for the height, between you and the actual Kyra?
What? Oh, he's still got the tricorn hat on, for
He
sure.
does still have the tricorn hat on. Yes.
How long have you been able to do this?
Well, where I come from, we keep our things close to the chest until we need to bring them out. It's kind of makes us a little bit more cool. So maybe you'll learn something more as we continue.
Well, can you make yourself taller?
Well, you see, that is my limitation here. I could only be about, let's say, this tall, and he'll kind of be right at. So, especially for being young, it works.
It'll work. Now we just have to make sure no one leaves their house tonight,
Except for me.
except for you.
Okay.
You
Not
and-
my cherry, bitch.
Oh, rough, bud.
That's rough. What?
You don't have to stay with us.
I never said I was going to.
You're still here.
You're intriguing.
You concern
Well,
me.
if he stays, I think we're gonna have a problem.
I think he'll be fine.
What was that, little man?
If you call me Oh my goodness, boy.
Oh dear.
That's fucking Minda hits that shit in his cap and turns back into Minda Carter. He's like, if you don't get that shit out of here, I am average height for my species. You keep calling me small, I swear I'm gonna make you little.
Oh. Oh. Well, I'm not calling you small because of your species. I'm calling you small because your voice comes out of your stomach.
Well, maybe if I wasn't so goddamn hungry all the time, it might come out my fucking mouth.
Your voice
you
comes out of your
realize-
stomach.
I don't believe him.
At this point, Minda, I need you to make a deception roll.
Enjoy those bagels while they last, brother.
All right.
Alon's looking at Minda, just kind of like,
Fuck!
Kyra like squats down. No.
7.
7. At this point, now that it's been truly like fully pointed out, and now that you're away from other folk and stuff like that, as he speaks, a lot of you are starting to pick up on the fact that the voice doesn't really sound like it's coming from where the head is. It sounds like it's coming from just below there.
Alon walks right up to him and just kind of sticks his face in his face. Say something.
Are you?
Shh. Say something.
Do you poke him?
No, I'm just kind of like right here in front of
When-
his face. Just say
When
something.
Ophalon points the finger at Kyra, she bites it.
Yeah. Opalon's just like, ow.
Say something.
What?
What the
do you
fuck?
want?
Opalon backs away and immediately like draws
Are
a
you-
scimitar because he's
are
afraid.
you using your glamour right now?
Well,
The Elf with Horns is right.
Yes, we
You
all
can
got
call me
that.
Ewan. That was I like it. It's a good enough moniker.
yeah, you an asshole. That's what it is.
And you
Are
are hiding
liars.
something.
I need to learn some manners.
we all have secrets. Maybe you left me alone, I'd tell you.
Hmm.
All right. Well, we have people to find, so let's head to the well.
Okay.
I agree. And he'll turn around and he's in front of Kyra now, just bitch. Let's
Love
go.
it.
I didn't
Not
do
to
it.
Kyra, but just to y'all, to the group, to fucking
Yeah.
everybody
No,
who's being
no.
mean to me.
No, how exactly is this gonna work? I've never done anything like this before.
Opalon's just eyeballing. Just,
We're going to place our decoy Selkie next to the well. We are going to hide, and we are going to wait until our decoy is taken, and we will follow.
and then we fuck him up, right?
That's the plan. Or at least follow them to wherever they're holding the rest of the girls.
Well, you got me for that.
Kyle,
Mm.
I'm good at that part.
how long has it been since we've washed ashore?
I mean, you're at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you guys woke up in the early morning on the beach.
At like
Okay.
5 or 4, right?
All right. That ain't bad. That ain't bad.
Not that early. So like maybe like
8, 9.
8:30, somewhere in there.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
I'm just, keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, Juniper.
While we're, I'm assuming, walking to the well, she taps Kyra on the arm again. What's your name? You don't
didn't
mind me
ask.
asking.
I had no reason to give it to you. You didn't ask.
I'm asking now.
She kind of like glances around for a moment. You can call me Kyra.
Pleasure to meet you, Kyra.
Pleasure to meet you, Juniper.
you guys walk not far. It's maybe a 5-10 minute walk. And you see a actually rather large well. There's multiple like ropes with buckets that are just like around it. It's probably I'd say it's a 15-foot diameter well. It's a big stone well at the center of this town. And judging from the fact that this part of the village is up on the rock, it does seem like this was probably the one spot where they were able to get through rock and find fresh water. In a little pocket somewhere down below.
In a reservoir.
Yeah, in some groundwater. There are definitely, and you would know this, there are definitely streams and not necessarily, there's no major rivers nearby, but there's definitely a lot of streams and creeks and stuff like that back towards the forest. So it makes perfect sense that one of those would just go underground at some point and end up here. But you're around the well, and there are people here. I mean, it's a mid-afternoon. You see there are, there's one, like, just massive turtle, or turtle, and he's just hoisting up buckets for people and, like, handing it to them and putting them on carts for them, and then just lowering the buckets back down into the well.
I am gonna go up to the edge of the well and just do a double check and toss some dancing lights down into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You cast your dancing lights, and you hear a couple of like whispers and gasps from some of the townsfolk around you, but they don't really interrupt you. But yeah, the lights go down. This well goes down probably maybe 50-60 feet underground, and it's just a big hole. And with the lights that you put down, eventually you see it start to reflect off of water.
Okay.
Deep down below you.
I was just making sure there was no people in it.
No, go ahead and make a perception check.
May I also make a perception check?
Absolutely.
21.
21?
21?
21.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Yeah, both of you peering down there. How far can your dancing lights go from you, Kyra? I think you're
120 feet.
120. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you send these orbs down there, and you both get a really good look. At least from what you can see, there's no oddities in the construction of this well down to the surface of the water. There's no like extra holes or anything. You get to the surface of the water, and it is smooth, stacked brick, basically super far down.
I just wanted to describe what her dancing lights looks like.
Oh, absolutely.
So as she casts it, it's like a purple fox comes from her and begins to bounce down the well.
Love the purple Patronus.
Juniper perks up at that.
And she's like, oh, that's weird. Normally it's dogs.
Yeah, you get a good look in there. There's nothing, just the surface of the water about 50 or so feet below you.
Cool. And there's no mud, there's no dirt or anything around here. It's all rock, right?
Yeah, in this area, yeah, it's a lot of rock. This is like, there is definitely some earth that was easier to be moved down below this, where this well was, but most of what is around here is rock. Yes.
Okay. I will look at the others and just say, well, good news. No one fell down the well. Can I just take a gander around the space and see if there's any good hiding spots that I can see?
Yeah. Make another perception check for me.
18.
18. You look around. The very nature of this village, and that there is no houses that look exactly the same. Most of these houses have, being made of driftwood, have protrusions that are very easy to would for somebody like you to blend in with. You could like lay against the kelp with your cloak over top of you, and in the dark you would be almost imperceptible. You see little like gaps or like loops of driftwood that you could definitely like hunch down behind and just kind of poke your eyes up and over and be able to see through. There's definitely spaces around here to hide, as long as you don't fall through somebody's roof.
Right.
Menda.
Kyle, can I, with my standing leap, jump onto one of the roofs really quick and get a quick scan of see if there's any easily like easy areas where somebody could get snatched to?
Yeah. Yeah, you go ahead and bound up to one of the roofs nearby that has a kind of good look at the area. Make a perception check.
That's a 10.
A 10.
My dice don't like me.
You look around, Menda, and it takes a bit of looking. There are definitely alleyways, like, and it's not like a true standard alleyway, but like there's like pathways that the villagers have made between each other's houses, because who can be bothered to walk on the cobblestone all the time when you can just walk through your neighbor's, right. Side yard, especially if you're friends with them. So yeah, there's a lot of these kind of unofficial pathways between the houses, and some of them you do see even from up here, even with a 10, you do see some spaces where it's like two houses that are somewhat close and a little trail between them, and because the houses are close enough together, there's no windows. You couldn't see out those sides of the houses. So as long as somebody was quiet.
He'll kind of hop up, do a little quick look around. Minda being short, he's kind of always low to the ground, but while he's kind of up on the roof, he's kind of always kind of has his hands kind of on the roof as well, because like driftwood, so I assume it's kind of not perfect. So he's kind of like always kind of moving around, kind of like Spider-Man a little bit. But I've been playing too many fucking PS5 games. Bing, bang, boom. He'd be looking around, and then he'll kind of also when he'll kind of go back down immediately, same kind of way, real quick and spry, and it'll be like he'll kind of relay to the party that there's a couple of them spots where there's no windows and stuff.
Absolutely. Menda comes down, kind of relays that to you, Kyra, and Ewan, you're still there next to the edge of the well, taking this information in, and you hear Kyra, a voice from above you, and off to the right a little bit, just says, "Oh, hello there, little lady. You want some assistance?" And the massive turtle is there, and you see he's got like his jaw is like kinked to one side, and he's just like looking down, giving you this kind of cross-jawed grin as he looks down.
Yes, do you happen to be here even at the nighttime?
Oh no, most of the night time I let the people get the water for themselves. Gotta go sleep sometime.
Right, I figured as much. I just figured I'd ask. Did you happen to see anything last night when that girl was taken, possibly?
He furrows his brow. He says, "Oh, I remember young Mira coming. She was the last one that I hoisted the water up for before I left for the evening. She came and she got some water, and I watched her off." And he points back the way you guys just came, and he says, "I watched her walk around the corner, and I assumed she was headed on home."
Interesting. All right.
But you know, and you see he like reaches up, and it just this hand is like the size of Ewan's torso. and just like reaches up and like scratches the chin of just this massive turtle. He scratches his chin. He says, "You know, I thought it was weird though. I thought it must have been her mom coming looking for her with the lantern. But there was a light that was coming over there, and then when she went around the corner, the light went out. And that was a bit strange, sure it was."
There was a light.
Right, like a little lantern, like a little oil lantern or something. But I never saw where it was. I thought it, like I said, I thought it was her mama coming to guide her home.
Right. All right. Thank you. I appreciate the
What-
assistance.
What way did they go? Why am I
Back the direction
Draco
we came.
Malfoy?
Yeah, he points literally in the direction you guys just walked from on the actual cobblestone road.
Cool.
Yeah, you say thank you, Kyra, and he just gives a nod and says, "Of course. I hope you can find out what's been going on. Don't need no more of the little ones going missing."
No, we'd like to keep that to a minimum and hopefully bring back the ones that are missing.
Well, that would be that would be definitely a good thing, yes, for sure. But yeah.
All right. And as this information is being passed to me, I am jotting down like the notes rapidly in a small like leather-bound book. And at some point, the heat of the day gets to me. I'm still wearing my winter clothing, so I'm still wearing like a heavy leather poncho made of like deer skin, and like a whole 9 yards, all the way down to like leather moccasins. And she just like pulls this poncho off of her, and looks to the rest of the group. All right, so there's a lantern that might be connected to whoever took all of these people. So tonight, if we want to continue to ask for more information, if anyone heard anything, we might want to start with the house on that corner. See if they heard
Yeah.
anything when that happened.
And then after that, if it doesn't lead anywhere, we can hit the docks and see if we found anything down there.
Yes. And yeah.
Alrighty. So, what would you guys like to do?
I'm gonna head over to the house that was on the corner from where he said the light was coming from, and I will go up and knock.
Okay. Yeah, you walk up, you knock on the door.
Tie my poncho around my waist.
Yeah, for sure. It takes a couple of seconds, and you hear the door creak. Really old female Selkie with little teeny tiny like pince-nez style spectacles pinched at the end of her nose, and a flowery apron just kind of opens up, and she says, "Yes, can I help you?"
Hi, I am investigating the missing people. Me and my friends are. I was wondering if maybe you heard anything last night when just after dark.
She kind of screws up her eyes a bit and, "Looking for those missing girls, are you? Well, I can't say I saw much of anything. I go to bed rather early, I do myself. The lantern lighters, they were coming by pretty early in the morning. It was still pretty dark last night."
You saw lanterns.
Yeah, I was still sort of sleeping in my bed, but I saw the
the lantern lighters coming to light the village for the morning.
Right. Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And she reaches over and she just grabs a little wrapped thing and just hands it out to you and says, just keep up your strength, dearie. And she hands you this little wrapped, it's just wrapped in some, it's definitely still made of kelp, but it's like paper.
Yeah.
And when you get into it, it's basically nori, dried seaweed.
Yeah.
And you can mark down 1 day's worth of rations in your
Nice.
in your equipment.
Hell yeah. Kyle, can I insight check this lady's truthfulness and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Make an insight check.
I will be right back again.
Okay.
Come on. All right, that's just a 1. So +3, so it's 4. That one's good.
This lady is shifty.
I think that die needs to go into the dunce chair.
Oh, my dunce chair!
Is
It's
that
in
the
the
die
living
that I
room.
got you?
No,
Oh, thank goodness.
that one wasn't being nice to me either. But
Did
not
you
that.
smoke on them?
I did.
Hmm. I'm sorry, I gave him cursed dice.
Nah, no such thing. They just got to get used to the character.
I will take the nori, and I will offer half of it to Ewan, because you're always hungry.
Why, thank you. I'll take the food.
You can't. I can't. You can't hear you.
Why, thank you. And I'll take the food. You give it a sniff. Yep. You give it a sniff.
Yeah. What does it smell like?
It smells like salt and the sea. And plants. All of those things that you smelled are amplified as taste. A very, very strong salty and sea flavor to this.
I bet if you put it with fish, it'd be really good.
I'm gonna go get fish. We can't do anything about where that thing is until night anyhow.
Well, we're heading down to the marina anyway next to see if we can figure out where that boat went.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. So you guys retracing steps from earlier manage to make it down the not super steep path, but down to the lower portion of the village, the docks and such things. And you actually passed the tackle shop earlier on your way off of Sham's boat. As you're approaching the docks, you can still hear the calling song of Dulaman being sung out in the bay.
I love this song.
You just still hear every once in a while. You just hear a Dulaman Bela, and just they're singing to each other in the space. But headed down there, you find again this simple driftwood shack right on the edge of the docks. And there is a sign that has no words on it. It just has about 17 different fishing lures stuck in it. And it's just hanging above a door.
Are any of them particularly shiny?
Make a perception check.
That's just kind of weird, isn't it?
18.
18.
Small village.
It's a tackle shop.
I guess
What else
they
would
know.
they advertise with?
Tackle. You know, it makes sense to me. There we go. I found it again.
You looking up there, You definitely see what is probably the newest one up there because the hook is still shiny and hasn't rusted from being out in the moist air yet.
I meant the lures themselves.
I know, yeah. There, and
Okay,
so
okay.
you see this shiny hook, and then you see this lure that's off of it that has this strange iridescent worm-like shape attached to the hook.
Wow.
And when you look at it from different angles, when the light hits it, it's a slightly different color.
How many people are on the pathway we're on right now?
There's definitely people milling
Number.
around. So I'm gonna say with that
Thief.
perception check, looking around, aside from your companions or the people you're walking with at the moment, you're on the busy docks in the middle of the afternoon, so there's definitely like 15 other people in the immediate 120 foot radius, you know, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay.
Alrighty. But you've arrived at the tackle shop. You can see this little, it's not really an alleyway. It's like an extra chunk of the driftwood that makes up this shack that like curls over. And there's like this kind of pebbles that have been strewn there. And it looks like a place that somebody would store a little boat next to a building.
Little boat shack.
Yeah.
Is there a means to get to the where they would keep the boat?
Yeah, it's right next to the door, basically.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I will head down there
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
see if I can see any like scratches on the wood or anything like that.
Mhm.
You like cut ropes or
cut
anything
ropes,
like that?
anything.
Go ahead and make an investigation check this time.
You can have bardic inspiration for that. If you want.
Is it D4?
The D6.
D6.
Oh shit.
Oh shit, brother.
21.
21.
Mm-hmm.
Looking
Nice.
around, Kyra, you see definitely the impression of where the boat normally would sit in here. And you do see, and only your like trained eyes really see this. You see places where things have been disturbed by small feet, and you definitely pick out multiple sets of footprints. And you see like where it looks like the boat might have been pushed a little bit before being picked up. Like there's disturbances in the ground and such here. But you see three distinct sets of footprints in here and the impressions of the boat being moved.
And I'm guessing the footprints disappear off the side of the boardwalk.
Well, yeah, once you get out of where the kind of pebbles and such things are and get out onto the wharf, you don't really see any more footprints. There's
Okay.
nothing really to. It's rained since then, so.
All right, it's definitely. I'll head back up to the rest of the others and be like, well, it definitely looks like someone stole the boat, and it was younger people. I saw 3 sets of footprints, and they were all heading out to the water. So there's a chance that not either one, these people were kidnapped and taken onto a boat, and 2, that is connected to the same missing people as the last 2 situations, or they're not connected at all.
So the last one that we were dealing with was by a well and a lantern. This one is by the water with some boats.
I was trying to think if maybe the lantern wielder stole the boat in order
Can
to
I walk into the bait shop? Sorry, just after that sentence is finished.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apologize. My mouth just spilled it out.
I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
You were saying.
I'm trying to think if they're connected and the lantern user stole the boat to cart away with the people that he kidnapped.
I wonder if a lantern user, not all of them, because that's a profession that needs to be done, but wonder if a lantern user is using some kind of magic to bewitch these young maidens to run off on their own accord, because the humongous turtle we dealt with a few moments ago, he said that she just kind of went that way and it didn't seem to be much of a struggle. So I wonder if maybe magic's involved there.
I would believe it. My money's on it's probably a fae.
No good either way, that's
The
for damn sure.
The Shi are incredibly dangerous, and they have a habit of kidnapping young children and young adults, people who are not quite ready for the outside world yet.
Well, let's see if whoever runs this tackle shop has seen some lanterns nearby with a couple of these youngins. See if it's connected.
You all come to that conclusion, and you turn, and Ewan is just gone, and you presume has already walked into the tackle shop. Ewan, you walk into the tackle shop. What do you do when you walk inside?
Well, what's the inside look like? Is it?
It's a really small little shack with a really crowded shelf behind us, a dingy little counter, and it is truly a rat's nest of fishing twine and lures and all kinds of stuff that are just being worked on at any given moment. And you see a very probably more like middle aged, maybe slightly younger than that, turtle with really leathery skin. And you see he's got lures just like stuck onto parts of his shell, and he's like sitting there, and he's got a some sort of a file, and he's actually filing and making a hook at this moment. But you see like hooks in this guy, like piercings through the shell, through the leathery skin, in the nose.
Okay.
And so he's just sitting there working on this thing, and he turns and looks at you, and he has no eye patch, but just a fully missing eye, just a hole in his head. And he just turns and looks at you, and he says, well, what do you want?
Were there lanterns outside your shop this morning?
Lanterns.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I
The
got
light-
here. Before I got here this morning, the lantern lighters had lit things up for the morning.
What time did you arrive in this morning?
Just before sunrise.
Thank you.
Of
Second
course.
question.
Yes.
Those. Do you have any of those little shiny wormy
And you see he like
lures?
truly takes his big leathery turtle hand and reaches into this mass of hooks and twine and just starts like sorting through stuff. And a few seconds later, you hear him like, "There we go," and he pulls out
there we go.
an almost identical lure to the one that you had seen outside. And you see he like literally he takes his other hand and like wipes all of the hooks that have just clung onto his skin back into the pile and just keeps the one. And he says, this be what you're looking for?
Indeed. I also realize I find myself lacking fishing supplies. I've been using my spear for far too long. Do you happen to also sell poles?
That sure we do. That sure we do. Won't find no selling here, mate. I got and he takes a thing and he pulls up a box and he goes and he opens it and you expect almost like there's gonna be another mass of like twine and lure, but it's actually very neatly organized and it is a full tackle, and you see there is a 3-piece fishing rod that is made of reeds that can just slide into one another. And he just has it sitting in there and he slides it across to you and he takes the special lure and just tosses it in there and says, "There you go." just sets it on the counter for you.
I pick it up. I look at the man, and there are like lightly tears kind of welling in the eyes.
He just nods. He says, "Well, you can't live on the coast and not have a fishing rod. You know, well, it's just foolish. Doesn't make any sense."
I hadn't figured out how to make one yet. It's just much easier. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, definitely, for certain. Listen, if you're looking for anything, any other lures or anything, you just come back and you talk to me, and we'll get you something special for whatever you're looking for. And you look around. There's no place to collect money. He looks like he either operates purely on barter or he just loves making lures so much he just makes them and gives them away.
Amazing.
Kyle, okay, actually, you know what, Kyle? I have a legitimate question for you. In my observations of villagers as so far, does money make any sense? Would I have even thought of that to say in the first place?
You have
Do people sell things?
You have been close enough to because that's the entrance that you've kept an eye on, which is back up in the residential place in the area you came into the village. The backside going towards the plains and the forest where you come from. You've been close enough to the market before to know that there is bartering and there is some buying and selling with simple coin. Not a lot of gold passes through here, mostly coppers and silvers. So you would know that people do trade these little like jangly metal things for something, but there's also a lot of barter. You've seen people like trade fish for nets and things like that. So it's at least here so far, like you would know that you would just probably think of trade more than anything else.
So I have a question for you. So I have a question for you, good leader of this tackle shop.
Yeah, all of the rest of you have come into the bait shop by now.
There's not enough space.
That's true.
I'm small and I can fit anywhere.
That is true.
So, that's not true in terms of fit anywhere. But do you have any tools to help those of us that might want to fish in the deep ocean, make their way back? Some tools of navigation, perhaps.
No, I work in lures and fishing supplies. That's me. That's what I do. You see, he kind of scratches his face a little bit, and as he does, like 3 hooks just like fall off of his face, and he's just like, probably not much. There's not a lot of deep ocean craft around here. You probably want to look into down in the capital or something like that. We don't tend to go too far out in the ocean.
Well, I appreciate that for you. My next question for you, sir. Have you heard any rumblings out by your boat dock?
Well, someone stole my boat like 3.5 weeks or so ago. And
it can continue.
He says, I wasn't here. I don't live here. I live up in the upper part of the village. And I came back in the morning and my boat was gone. And they said there were some youngsters that took it and went off down to the capital. Little shits.
Can
You should learn not to take people's property.
Can I insight check that?
Indeed, you should not.
Yeah, make an insight check.
Theft is most
that's,
heinous.
That's not terrible. Okay, 12.
A 12? He seems genuine. Like, he seems, like, really pissed off that somebody stole his boat.
I mean, it is his livelihood after all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got to go fish. Do you know, did anybody tell you perhaps the direction they went, or did nobody see?
I don't think, and from what I heard, they said that they came and they took the boat in the middle of the night and they sailed out of here before the morning, so I don't know if anyone saw them.
Well, I appreciate that, sir. You got some really good work going on your body. I love the art. Keep it up. And I'll turn around and I'll leave the bait shop. I don't need anything from here.
Okay.
I wouldn't have. I don't know if I would have entered.
Yeah.
We can find the man or the person who stole your boat. We will return it to you.
Thank you.
Maybe.
No.
Alrighty.
We might keep that boat.
No, we won't keep the boat.
What do you guys want to do?
Well, we've investigated as much as we've gotten leads to do so.
So I have something that I would like to do if it's a thing. I would like to see if, because I can breathe air and water, I would like to go deep in their little kelp pool, because that's essentially where we're at. We're kind of still in that little kelp garden spot, right?
Yeah, you're at the mouth of, the wharf goes right up to the bay, and this whole cove is a giant kelp farm.
Yeah.
I
would like to go ahead and hop in the water, swim down, do a quick once over of the general area, see if they just fucking didn't know how to navigate on a vehicle
absolutely.
if they crashed.
Do you have dark vision?
I don't. Would that be in like racial traits?
Senses.
It should be on your main page.
It's under your saving throws.
Saving throws. I don't know. Additional senses types. I see. No, not at all.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. It is still daytime. So as long as you're close to the surface of the water, you have quite a bit of light. If you start to go too deep into the kelp, you will start to lose a little bit of light. Because this cove is not super deep. At its deepest point, it's maybe 15 to 20 feet, but the kelp goes from the bottom all the way up to just below the surface of the water.
Right.
But you can absolutely go down there. Go ahead and, if you're searching just this general vicinity, I'm going to say just make me an investigation check.
Cool.
I'm not going to give you disadvantage because since you can breathe under there, you don't have to worry about time. So you can take your time.
Right. Damn it. That's a 2 + 1 for 3.
+1 is 3. You look around. The kelp is pretty thick, but you don't find anything. But by virtue of how thick the kelp is, you're pretty sure that if a little boat like that doesn't weigh very much were to go down here, it wouldn't make it all the way to the bottom. It would be stuck in the kelp somewhere.
Right.
And you're not finding anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. At least in this area around the docks.
While I'm underwater, at least the hat's not on. It's kind of just floating on top of the water.
For sure.
And then when he comes up, he'll come up right underneath the hat, and then he's back to what he should look like.
Love that. Juniper first.
Not really being able to think of anything else to do to help, or where the tracks and the boat were,
Mm-hmm.
can Juniper see if there are any dens or nests that are occupied?
Go ahead and make a nature check as you look over this area.
That is a 10.
A 10.
I was hoping you would give me survival.
Survival. Now, you're looking around, and I mean, a 10 is still a 10. You're just looking in this a little spot by where a boat was stored. I would say that what you find with that particular search in mind, there's definitely like, because it is all driftwood, so it is open in certain points. But looking around, you see something and you go to take a closer look at it, and you look around and there's like a pocket in part of the driftwood that's like up and around a corner just out of sight, and you see a bunch of like straw and dried kelp and everything that's been like stuffed in this little pocket, and you like poke your head up to get a closer look, and you see just a fat fucking dormouse just asleep in this little nest that's just up and around the corner. Yes.
Can I cast Speak with Animals?
Yeah. You can absolutely cast Speak with Animals. Describe what it's like when you cast that spell.
Oh, I would say that there's just a little bit of like blue sparks that come out of her fingertips, and she just kind of taps her throat.
Mm.
And then they
Okay.
go poof.
Yep. All right. You cast Speak with Animals. What are you doing?
What's that? Very softly, she just with the tip of her finger knocks on the side. I'm so sorry to disturb you, little one.
You see the little dormouse kind of like twitches a little bit and like gives a big yawn and gives a big blink, and it's the middle of the day. Dormice usually sleep through the day. They're more nocturnal creatures, and you see he kind of blinks and he says, "Yeah, what do you want?"
I said, so sorry to disturb you. Do you have a name?
He says, I mean, I get called Get Out a lot, so you know, maybe that's my name. I don't know.
Oh, well, my name is Juniper. You have a lovely home.
Oh, thanks. It's really comfortable. I'm supposed to be asleep right now.
Well, if you don't mind, I have a couple of questions, and then you can get back to sleep.
Oh, sure.
The village around here, the larger folk in the area.
Yeah. The big folk. Yeah.
Some of the younger children have gone missing over the last few nights, and there was some of them that were here on the beach, and I was wondering if you'd seen anything. I believe 3 of them with a boat.
As I was not expecting this interaction today, I'm going to go ahead and roll to see if the dormouse saw anything.
Did the dormouse see?
As the dormouse sings Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Bat.
Dormouse
perception
check.
You see, he kind of like, he does like a big stretch, and he's like, well, yeah, it was a while ago, but there was
some of those bigger folk that came in and they took that boat, and it wasn't the people that usually take the boat. And they took it out and they put it in the water, and I followed them for a little bit, and they went out, and I said they had like something lighting on the front of the boat, and I watched them from the roof. I watched them go out into down. I just watched the light getting farther and farther away, and then the light just disappeared when they got to the center of the bay.
Well then, what did you happen to see how many were there?
Oh, there was three of them. Little, well, big, I guess, but they were the big rat people.
I love this little guy.
Very good. Would Mr. Mouse suit you for a name? I feel completely awful.
Oh yeah,
not
I mean, I
referring
am
to-
a mouse and I am a mister, so that would make total sense.
Did you see what direction? Did you see which direction they went?
Oh, they went out into the middle of the water, and then the light went away.
Just the light?
Yeah, I mean, once the light, it was the middle of the night. Once the light went away, I couldn't see anything anymore.
That's fair. Well, this has been very helpful.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming and talking to me. Do you have any, like, breadcrumbs or anything? I could use a snack before I go back to bed.
Do I have anything to give him, Kyle?
I mean, you've probably got some
You
little
have rations?
rations in your
Yeah,
stuff.
I break off a chunk of something.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
hardtack. He's like,
Oh, hey, this is...
Instead of having a whole cracker
Wow.
today, you get like a piece of one.
he like eats a little bit of the hardtack, and he's like,
Wow, I can save the rest of that for later. I'm already full.
and he just kind of tucks it away in the nest, and he's like,
Thank you so much, Mr. Mouse. You've been a massive help.
Yeah, for
Wow.
sure, for sure.
and
I want-
yeah. I rolled a
I want
nat
there to
20
be-
on if the dormouse had seen anything.
Hell yeah, the dormouse was like, bro, they went this way and they got.
Yeah.
Um,
Peep.
All right. You have a lovely sleep.
Yeah, for sure.
About adorable as it can get.
You see, he
I
just
just
kind of
can't wait
just
until
kind of like
I eventually
curls
step
into
on it.
the-
Okay.
Juniper
Juniper finds the rest of the group.
And where have you been?
Getting information from a little friend on the beach.
What the
Mr. Mouse. Mr. Mouse.
Going African.
You talked to a mouse?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yes.
Well,
Why,
it's not
yes.
out of the ordinary.
Animals are very observant.
And smart.
And they are fantastic conversationalists.
Clearly.
What
And
did the
listeners.
mouse say?
There were 3 otter folk who took the boat out into the bay. There was a lantern, and he followed them for a bit, and then the light went out. He couldn't see anything after that, unfortunately. But there were only 3.
But they were 3 otter folk.
Yes.
We hadn't gotten a confirmation of whether or not... And they had a lantern.
Yes.
We haven't gotten a confirmation of whether or not the person that's been kidnapping the kids have been an otter folk.
Kyle,
Hmm.
was that area where the lantern went out around where I was like searching around, or no? Is that like kind of deeper away?
Where they were talking about the lantern earlier was up in the upper level of the city.
No, I mean like on the water.
the
earlier
lantern.
with
The
mouse.
way that Juniper just described after having this conversation with this mouse is out towards the center of the bay, like maybe a quarter of a mile.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Now, Mr. Mouse didn't have any distinguishing features to share, so I assume that the 3 that went out on the boat were just the missing girls.
seem to be drawn by a light.
How many? The first set of girls that went missing, it was 3, right?
Yep, 3
I just
all
wanted-
around the same time, about 4 weeks ago, and then 2 in the last week.
All right.
Well,
It's
we got to keep
possible-
our eyes out for the lanterns.
My concern is that both situations, they've just disappeared. It's possible that the Dormouse only could see out towards the horizon, and they went past the horizon, and that's when they disappeared.
He made it very clear that as soon as the light went out, he couldn't see them anymore.
Right.
But that might have just been because it was the middle of the night and he's can't see very far.
But I would think that you would need a lantern in order to see where you're going in the middle of the night.
I wonder if it's possible that they got whisked away once they were out of ear and eye shot. By some magical force. Who knows? I don't know what's going on.
Maybe they got picked up by like a really big bird.
That even makes a lot of sense too.
Because the bird
They
come
could-
down and big wings flap and the lantern goes out and then whoop. And off they go.
Yeah, this village could be getting accosted
Well, hold
by
on
a
to that
large
idea.
bird.
We'll hold on to it. It's gonna be our backup idea. I'm pretty sure someone is just kidnapping them and then magically moving away.
I'm sure we'll find out more tonight.
Yes, we should get ready for
Okay.
this trap.
How long would it be until said trap would have to take place? Kyle, would you say?
You're looking at at this point, after doing what you've been doing down on the docks and talking and doing your investigation, I'm gonna say you're looking at, it's probably close to 4 p.m. So you're looking at maybe 5 hours until it's truly, like 4 hours till dusk, or no, 3.5 hours till dusk, and then maybe 4.5 hours until the sun is completely down.
Well, while we have a little bit of time, I'm gonna go investigate our mouse lead into the water, see if I can see anything out in the bay.
Yeah, you seem to be pretty good at swimming.
I kind of do it a lot. I spent a lot of time out at sea, and sometimes you lose your vessels every now and then. You got to swim to shore.
All right.
How many times have you swum to shore, Menda?
Well, in my line of work, you're pretty prone to possibly losing your shipping vessel every now and then. So a little bit more often than most.
All right. Amanda, you're gonna swim out into the center of the bay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna search since we have time for
Okay.
an hour.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So you swim a quarter of a mile out towards the center of the bay, towards the deepest part of it. It's still, only 20 to 25 feet, even out here in the very center. And go ahead and make an investigation check.
No ulterior motives for Menda to be out in the bay for an hour.
None at all.
None at all. None at all.
None at all.
Investigation, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's an 18 on the die plus 1,
18
19.
on the die.
Dunce chair's where it's at for this campaign.
I see.
Dunce chair
You
works.
spend some time searching around, Menda, and you're getting to the point where you're almost at the end of an hour, and you're like, damn, like I'm out. You're definitely out here for other reasons than actually searching. Like you do spend probably the first 15 minutes with laying on your back on the surface of the water, just kicking your feet, just doing a little
vibing a little bit.
backstroke. But as you're searching around, you're you really don't find anything. And again, once you get super deep, like once you get too deep, you can't really see anything because of the thick kelp. And you're getting ready to turn around and leave. And before you do, you catch sight of something and you look down and you see it and you swim down to it. And again, leaving your hat on the surface, so you just become a grung swimming down under the water. What's happening?
Just things.
You
He's
just
reaching for it.
Yeah. You just floop, floop, and swim down. And Menda, tangled in the kelp. Not a boat. An oar. And about 4 feet of rope that are all just tangled in this general vicinity here at the center of the lake or of the bay.
Is it just like the rope attached to the oar itself? Does the rope lead to anything?
The rope is tied to the oar, and then it's like 4 feet, and then it looks like and you being on sailing vessels, you would know this looks like a rope that snapped. Not a rope that was cut.
Right. He'll pull his dagger out from his back, like he was kind of at his like hip, and kind of come and cut the pieces free from the kelp, and he'll kind of resheath his item, and keep that with him. He'll kind of use it to help him kind of get through the water now too. Kind of use the oar,
for sure.
And he'll do a quick little once over of that area, see if there's anything else over there other than just the oar in that particular spot.
Yeah, sir. I mean, yeah, just continuing to search the area. That's all you find.
Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and head on back to my hat.
All right.
I
Rising.
imagine it just hovers above wherever he is. And so he just
When Menda jumps into the water to head out to the bay, I'm gonna just look over to Ewan and just be like, "Why are your hands wood?" And what kind of wood?
I don't know.
Can I see?
You may.
I will take his hand. Can I identify what type of wood his arm is?
Yeah, make a nature check.
Nature.
Wait, where'd it go? 19.
A 19? Well, the 19, you just kind of take a look at his arm, poking and prodding. Like a little piece of bark just like falls off onto the ground as you're examining. What you notice here is you're not certain, because it's hard to tell
But you
what
said
is
that there were leaves on it, right?
There's like pieces of like sticky out bits and stuff, but I don't think at
most there's like an infinitesimally long twig with like a single leaf. Like there aren't like
little tiny bits. But I will say, as you're looking at it, you're finding it hard to place like to a specific like type of tree or anything like that. But what you do get the sense of, it's a very hard wood. Very hard wood.
Okay, so it is. I figured. That's why I said Ewan is. I figured it was yew wood, and it probably is. It's an extremely hard wood. So getting punched in the face by you must really hurt.
Seems to. Would you like to find out?
No.
At about this time, after a little
I
while.
think Juniper had something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was just a small RP thing, like just watching the interaction between Ewan and Kyra, and just looking at Kyra and not specifying which question she's answering. I do believe it's just due to his nature.
I don't know why you said that like that in that specific tonality, but I feel like it was supposed to be a joke.
No.
You think he just naturally grows wood on his... I guess he is an Eladrin. But
Exactly.
But his whole arm... isn't it normally like pieces in regards to Eladrin? He also has antlers.
Antlers are a different sort of gift.
See? They're gifts. So they're
He
not
is-
his nature.
But he is who he
That's
is,
not
isn't he?
necessarily true. Things gifted to you can be integral.
After a while, Menda returns to the docks, popping out of the water, dripping wet. And you see he's carrying in his hands an oar with a piece of rope tied to it.
Where'd you find that?
This was over in the brush, down out by in the kelp forest where that boat that the mouse said was over there. So I cut it free and brought it back up. I don't know if it's connected, but it was the only thing around there.
How did you hold your breath for that long?
Well, see, I spent a lot of time at sea, so I'm pretty good at that sort of thing.
But
You held your breath for an hour? I wonder how long I can hold my breath.
I don't think
I
you
bet
hold it
it's
for
a
an
lot.
hour.
I'm gonna stick my head under the water and see how long I can hold my breath for.
Oh god.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got my friends from home beat, I'll tell you what.
Fun fact.
there's an equation for this.
There is an equation for
There's
this.
an equation for this.
D. Every person that cannot breathe underwater can hold their breath for the equivalent of 1 minute plus additional minutes for their Constitution modifier.
What is your
Damn.
Oh.
modifier?
I hold my breath for 1 minute.
I can hold my breath for 7.
Wild.
What the
Your
fuck is
con-
your Constitution
your con-
modifier?
A plus
Plus
No,
6?
plus 6.
No, your con modifier, not your saving.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not the saving throw, right?
Yeah,
Plus 4, so 5 minutes.
5
Oh yeah.
Still a
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
long time.
Yeah, he comes back up a minute later. Hurry. Hold on.
Apparently not. I think I could do it longer than that.
If you have a negative Constitution modifier, you can only hold your breath for 30 seconds.
That's I don't have a negative Constitution.
But yeah, Menda returns. He has this stuff. But what are you guys doing?
We should show the ore to the shopkeep and see if he recognizes it.
See if it's his oar. Yeah.
Yeah, going back in and talking to the turtle
Total keep.
yeah, the turtle bait maker. What was I? The turtle tackle maker. That's what I was trying to say. He
The turtle. Bader?
yeah, for sure. You ask him, bring it inside. He identifies the ore as belonging to his boat.
All right. So something happened.
I wasn't able to find any other parts of the boat down at the depths of the pool there. So I don't think it's down there. I think it's somewhere else, and the oar was left behind, having been caught up in the brush, as if it had been dragged behind it.
He says, you see the shop or the shopkeeper. He just says, "Well, I know that when those folks go out there and harvest the Dulaman out there in the bay,
when they get to those deep parts, that's something, and he points at it, that's something that they do to help harvest portions of the kelp. They tie it to the rope and they put it down in the water, and they let it pull. Usually they don't use an oar. They usually use one of the kelp scythes. But I mean, this is kind of like what they do for that, to get it down deep there where there's no sandbars or rocks to stand on.
Right.
Kyra.
Did Amanda mention that the fuck, now you gave it to me. The rope was snapped. Did he mention it?
I did not mention that the rope was snapped, but like in particular. But I suppose I would have, like, I would be like, it's like snapped.
Also,
shit,
he's
you know,
he's also
fucking-
holding it.
Yeah, you can see
and I would, yeah. So like looking at it, anybody who thinks they might have a reasonable expectation for how to work with ropes, there is definitely a difference in the look between a rope that has been cut and a rope that has been pulled apart.
Right. All right, and it looks like it's snapped. What would have caused that?
tension.
Being caught in the kelp?
As it's being dragged upwards, maybe? Like by a bird.
But it wouldn't take it the whole boat.
If it was a big enough bird, it could.
Maybe if it was a large enough bird to target the boat instead.
So big it could be a dragon.
A lot more sense. What?
No, I don't know. Now
He
I'm just
just-
talking shit.
He just
What? No.
says,
What?
the shopkeep. He just says, well, it would have had to have been something from above or at the surface of the water, because there's no sharks can't swim in the bay. The kelp's too thick. Nothing that could be under the water could take anyone. They can't swim through it. We built it up especially how it is.
And it's the cloud giants that is in that little citadel thing, right?
Correct. At least that's what you've been told.
Yeah. Has there been any history, like say, prior to our modern historical record of them cloud giants up near the citadel taking the young?
You see, he like scratches his neck again, and like little pieces of the tackle kind of fall off of him again. He just says, well, I don't know about taking. Sure, the cloud giants they're really more like those philosophizing sorts. They're kind of more, they got big libraries and such up there. They mostly keep to themselves. I've never seen one.
And your people have never been preyed upon by like any kind of natural enemy, like predator of any kind?
He says, I
Historical
mean,
record?
when the fishermen go out and outside of the bay, they sometimes get hassled by the odd shark, or there's also occasionally there's been known to be a giant owl or two from the forest, but most of the time they don't come after people in the villages. But I've seen them take a stag off of the plains, right lickety split. So
It's kind of big, but that's like not big.
I
not
wrestled
big
one
enough.
for a stag. It tried to take my kill.
How'd that go for ya?
How'd that go for you?
I ate 2 beasts that night.
oh, you're a little freak, aren't you?
I I don't think that's true there, mister. I think he kind of just embellishes a little bit. I haven't seen him in action yet. I can't really,
Would you like to?
vouch. You know, more
Not in my shop.
fucking moment.
Gotta go outside. Gotta go outside. Not an option here. Not an option here.
Ooh.
But yeah, you guys have your information. This oar definitely and rope definitely belonged to that boat, but there was no boat, there was no bodies, there was no nothing in the water.
Well, we returned a part of your boat for you, so we'll see what we can do otherwise.
All right, we appreciate it.
Juniper.
As we are leaving the tackle shop, she turns to Kyra. You said you could track things, but how exactly are we going to track our friend if he just disappears?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Because it sounded like they just went poof.
That's what it sounded like. to me.
Well, if y'all stay close enough, I don't really think they went just poof. I just don't think people were nearby enough to see what that poof was. If I get taken through some kind of rift in time and space, please jump with me. I don't want to be there on my own.
But there's still the
What?
situation with the second girl, with the most recent one. There was a light that she walked towards, and then the light went out, and she was no longer there.
The lantern with the first three girls.
We haven't figured out anything about the second girl that was taken after the first girl that was taken after the three went missing.
The one that was taken this morning.
No, there was two. So there's the three that went missing.
There was
and
one. Yeah, there was one taken earlier this week, and there was one that was taken literally last night.
We haven't heard anything about the first girl that was taken. Do we have
Of
a
the separate
name?
ones, right?
Yeah. Do we have a name for that one?
For that one, for the one that was taken the night before was named Mira.
Right, Mira.
And then the one that was taken earlier in the week, her name was Stream Sleek.
Stream Sleek.
Ooh, Stream Sleek.
We need to check one more thing.
It's like
and see what happened
Sideswipe.
and see what happened to the first girl that was taken after the three went missing. Stream Sleek. Let's go find her parents.
It's like a
and
transformer.
figure out where she was at when she got taken.
Sideswipe.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back up to the residential portion of the village, you ask around a little bit. You find that Stream Sleek lived with an elderly grandfather, helping to take care of him. The grandfather is pretty distraught at the loss of his granddaughter, answers your questions to the best of his ability. And it's a very similar story to Mira from last night. She went to the well to get water and never came back that night.
Have you noticed that all of these stories have two things in common? Or at least one specific
I
thing
have
in
indeed.
common.
I have.
They all were around water.
Water? And I got fucking disconnected. God fucking
What?
damn it.
No, yeah.
Am
Did
I connected again?
Yeah, we're
you're
good.
alive. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Your camera didn't even go out.
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm going to disconnect and reconnect.
Okay.
Cool. Do you think, bro?
Oh, shit. I could hear a word y'all were saying.
I think you're really delayed,
after I
my friend.
said- Am I?
Oh,
coming
no,
through
no,
okay?
you're good
What's
now.
going on?
Yeah, you're good now.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. My accent's just some bullshit. So, last thing that I said before y'all cut out was after you said two things in common, and I said yes, water
Water.
and
The land.
lemon.
and the women, and then the lanterns.
Oh.
If the last one was the
and
lantern
lanterns.
situation.
Yeah.
But we haven't heard anyone else's portion of that. But all right, I'm not comfortable using you as a bait, Menda.
Well,
I, on the other hand, am perfectly comfortable using you as bait, Menda.
I mean, if he's volunteering, that's one thing. Like,
Entirely.
well, you know, I could totally put you on a hook and catch me some fish if that's what you're talking about, but
Wild.
I am okay with being the bait because I don't really want to put any of their young at risk.
High risk teens.
High risk teams.
Oh, now he timed out.
Oh no.
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 Oh, he's
Oh,
back.
Oh no,
back.
you're back.
I'm back.
Wait, you're back. You're back.
Cool.
I'm gonna be right back again.
Okay.
All I'm trying to say is that I just want to protect the youth because the youth is the future. That is all.
But if I want to do the same, but if you get taken and we can't track you, I can do my best, but if you get taken and you just vanish.
Well, here's what we could do because we have 2 days until we could leave here, and they want us to investigate. Why don't we use tonight to stake out these areas without
Putting
bait.
anyone out.
And so that way we can get a good rest, so we can take advantage of our full faculties. Because I have a way to get out of that, but I need it. I need to take a nap first.
All
I
right.
need to go to sleep. Out of character, I got Misty Step, and it's once per long rest.
All right. We'll stake it out tonight and see if we can see anything.
So that way, if somebody tries to bewitch me, I could be like, "Nope, I'm on a roof, 30 feet away, or whatever." Yeah, 30 feet. So, unless anybody else has any better options in terms of a bait or possible like golem or homunculus of some kind, I think we're just gonna have to stake the area out for tonight.
Menda, I have a quick
Yes.
question for you.
Mhm.
When did you use your Misty Step? Did you use it while you were chasing Ewan earlier today, or did you use it while you were on the ship?
Used it while I was on the ship.
If you used it while you were on the ship, you have that use back. You passed out in the ocean. You got a long rest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
okay.
good.
I'm just gonna hit that button.
Yeah. No.
Never mind. We can do that shit tonight.
all of a sudden, I feel very rested.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I got my second win.
All right. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go do a stakeout. Let's go. Let's
Okay.
go plant some traps.
Mhm.
So we will scooch forward a bit. We'll say that you guys are greeted by Sham and Marigold, and Sham and Winifred and Marigold for the evening, and provided more food before you begin your stakeout. It is another bowl of pot root soup for every around the table for everyone. Although with dinner, they seem to make it a bit more of a spread, and you see a fresh steamed fish, still with all the bones and such in, that's been prepared and set on the table as well. And you also see a crusty loaf of bread that has a slight greenish tinge to it.
Is it kelp?
But yeah, you guys are and it is a crusty loaf made with kelp flour, basically.
Ah,
Elle was right.
Yeah. You have some dinner. You get ready to go. Any other extra short rests that you might need to take, you can take. Ewan.
Hey, how because this is like early afternoon that we're starting this sort of process. So do I have about 4 hours I can go spend alone?
By the point after you guys did all of that, I would say you have about probably about 3.5 hours until everybody was planning on getting together. So if you wanted to push it by a half hour, you could definitely have 4 hours to yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, my concept of time is a little loosey goosey anyway, so
Okay.
I'd try it.
Okay, absolutely. Are you gonna try and find a spot to meditate for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually. I'd like to go to the top of that, like longhouse structure
Yeah, absolutely.
somewhere up there.
Easy peasy for you. Jacob, I need you to tell me, do you, in your regular form,
Yeah.
do you have a climbing speed?
No, I do not have
Can
a
you
climbing.
can you go ahead and give yourself a climbing speed equal to your walking speed, please?
Sure, I can do that. Little monkey man.
We'll just worry about it. But yeah, you can head on up there. But yeah, you guys are provided with this food. Ewan disappears for a little while. Misses dinner. But dinner of course is kept for him by Winifred, who actively like makes a show of taking a whole like piece of this steamed fish and like wrapping it in kelp and saying he said he wanted fish, and she stows it away. But yeah, eventually I will say you can absolutely, if everybody's willing to wait an extra half hour, you can absolutely get a transit. There's nothing gonna bother you up there except a gull, maybe.
Gull. That's okay. They're allowed to do that sometimes. That's their right.
Sometimes they just come and just like sit on the top of your head while you're meditating.
Yep, that's perfectly fine. We vibe together for a little bit.
Um,
And then I finish my Witcher time skip animation
Yeah.
and I stand up.
yeah. All right. You all congregate, and we are getting close to the end of our session, so we will be wrapping things up here somewhat soon, not immediately. But you guys all gather, and you're at this little area around the well. Basically, just after the sun has fully gone down, there is no more light to the sky. And it is dark, and there are just a few lanterns lit in this area, and basically on the corners of streets, and then in some people's doorways and such. But other than that, the village is kind of winding down for the night. It's a long day of harvest in Dulamon, and they have to be up in the morning to do it again.
Up in the morning
Sorry,
for
it never
more
stops.
Doolittle harvesting.
So, but you guys are here just after it comes dark. What are you doing?
I'm gonna find a hiding spot.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check, Kyra.
I'm so good at those.
And as a matter of fact, anybody who is planning on hiding off in the shadows for this little skullduggery, give me a stealth check.
I'm the bait, so I'm not gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should probably also try and hide. Not very good at that.
Please try
28.
and hide. 28 for Kyra. You are gone in the darkness. You find a space, and you're good to go. You roll on that one.
And I have disadvantage.
Did you roll 2 nat ones?
No, so that's a nat 1, and then rolling for disadvantage. That would have been an 18.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Damn.
So that's a nat 1 on my stealth roll.
Rough.
I thought mine was bad. I got a 10.
You got a 10. Juniper, with a 10, you're able to find a spot that's adequate. You're out of the thing about your hiding spot, Juniper, is it is a good enough hiding spot. You just don't have a very good view of things from where you're at.
And then Ophalon truly is standing like behind like a bush, right in the light of a lantern in front of somebody's house. So he's truly just making this bush seem much darker than it should be.
Amazing.
And Ewan, what did you get on a stealth roll?
24.
24. You are also basically hidden wherever the fuck you want to be.
I did have one other, technically two other things I wanted to do, but
Yep.
I wanted to set a couple of, because we're setting up like around the well, right? If I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
In the general vicinity. You're still in a residential like area, so it's mostly a bunch of people's houses around the well. Yeah.
Okay. In that one, in two different of those, because I imagine there's more than one of those really like dark alleyways that have like no windows. In one of them, I'm going to set a hunting trap, which I know the rule book says is like a bear trap basically, but that's absolutely not what mine is.
Is yours like a snare, basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Understood.
I want to just, if it was possible for me to just say what it was like when Kyra just vanishes.
Yeah, for sure.
She looks over at Juniper and just says, "Have faith in me. This is something I'm really good at." Before stepping into the shadows, and she just like vanishes, like no longer is there. You walk over and she's gone.
Yeah, she's disappears. So those of you that are hiding have made your stealth checks. Menda, what are you doing?
Menda will kind of, as he's walking down the street, as they kind of go, to kind of do the little hide and shit, very Naruto style. I like to imagine.
You just look. You pointedly stare at Ophalon, who is hiding behind, truly not even a shrub, like a tiny, tiny bush.
He said he thinks he is totally hidden.
Yeah.
He looks. Ophalon looks over at Men and goes, "This is the perfect spot."
Well, I'll let you stay there. And it'll just continue. Like, all right. And as he does that, he'll kind of swing on kind of do a little swoosh on the cap, and he will, he'll change his form into that of about like another. So, how tall are otter folk on average, Kyle?
On average, they are taller than humans. Your average male, your average male otterfolk is like between 6'3" and 6'5". But the female otterfolk are between like 5. That's adult are between 5 and 5 or like 5'9" to 5'11". Right. But you're trying to be a juvenile, so I mean,
it makes
you
it
can
be about 4 foot.
Yeah, I mean that would be appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll kind of, as it kind of swooshes on the cat, his height only shifts a little bit downwards. Actually, he was a little bit on the tall side, like 4.5 feet. When he was the half elf, and he shifts downwards a little bit. And as he shifts downwards, hair starts to go, and it starts to just go all the way down his back as he becomes a youthful. I don't know. I guess all right looking Selkie, you know? I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's weird.
Very average looking Selkie woman.
Yeah.
Young girl.
Truly considering that you've been here for less than 24 hours so far and you've only met a few people, you probably look a lot like Marigold, Sham's daughter, just because that's one of the primary young otter maids you've seen.
Right.
Yeah, you take on this appearance. Your clothes change, but the hat does remain. Although it does not have to remain a tricorn hat.
Ooh. I'll make it. I'll make it a. It'll be one of those fucking those like sun hats. With like the big leafy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big sun hat, that magnificent feather though still poking out of the brim.
Yep.
And you walk
Feather's always there.
The
you walk towards the well in the center here. And Menda, what I'm going to need from you is a deception check with advantage.
Nice. So that's. Where's the? Give me my. There it is. 23.
23. Alrighty. All of you are hidden as Menda walks out towards the center of this space, finding your his way. You all watch just before he exits the shadows. You see the shift, and then a wide-brimmed hat and a young otter maid is just walking across the cobblestones here, and heads over to the well, and actually getting fully into a deceptive sort of character. Menda, you grab a bucket attached to a rope and toss it down into the well. You hear it splash. You let it, give it ample time to fill with water, and then you start hoisting the bucket back up. All of you are keeping an eye out, watching things, but about a minute goes by. Menda, is you don't have a massive turtle here pulling it up. It is
Right.
it is a bucket full of water that's 50 feet down. So you're pulling on this rope for a little while. But eventually you get it up to the rim and pull it out and unhook the bucket from the rope, preparing to turn around and take off with it. As you turn away from the well, Menda, you see out towards seaward, towards the direction towards the ocean, east. There we go, cardinal direction. To the east, you see, coming from around this a house, you see a light, just kind of glowing softly, just through the darkness, just down and around the corner a little bit. What are you doing, Menda?
Do I see anything around the light? Can I see?
At the moment, it's like you just see the glow of it around a corner. You don't actually see like what's making it.
I'll kind of keep my eyes on the light, but I'll keep pulling the bucket.
You already got it up. You got the bucket up. You got it in your hand. Yep.
Damn, I didn't think about a receptacle for the. All right. So I will take the bucket and I'll have it, and I will begin slowly walking back down towards the direction that I came up, which I assume is the way the lantern's at.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'll make my way downtown. Walking
the
slow.
rest of you, go ahead and make perception checks for me.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
17.
9.
9.
17 with a +0.
Everyone except for Juniper, you notice Menda turn and start heading back the way he came, with the bucket. He's just walking back.
Do we notice anything about the direction he's heading?
He's heading back in the direction he came from, and it's not bright, but there's just the faintest glow for Ewan and Kyra that you can see from up and around the corner. Kyra.
I will very silently get down into a crouched position
Mm-hmm.
and emerge from my hiding place, staying in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And I will follow Menda.
Okay. You scurry through the shadows. Ewan.
Similarly, but I think I likely hit upon the rooftops. We'll like begin circling around this square that encompasses the
Mm-hmm.
well towards where Menda's heading.
Mm-hmm.
Just creeping along like a.
You got it. And I would say for
Spear.
Juniper, though, even though you got a 9, you still see Menda heading back, and you do see your allies starting to creep that direction as well. What you don't see, Juniper, you don't see the light. You don't even see a glow. Ophalon, from where you're at, you do see Menda heading around a corner, and you do also see a faint glow.
Juniper is going to follow Kyra as quietly as she can.
Yep. I'm gonna hold these stealth checks for now as you all are creeping forward. Menda, you are walking up and you get around the corner. And as you come around the corner, I need you to make a perception check.
Yeah.
For me.
Right. 13.
13. With a 13, I will say, what you see as you come around the corner, you see a faint orb of just soft gold, like orange light, just kind of floating here in the middle of this area of Cobblestone Road. It's strange. The orb itself is not super bright, but the aura off of it is fairly bright for you as you're looking at it. And I'm gonna need you, Menda, to make for me. Oop. Hold on while I find the thing that I need to look at. I need you to make for me a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage.
Kind of a.
Ah! Nat 1 for 2.
Nat 1. Menda, you come around the corner. You've got this bucket in your hand, and you're holding it. And you stare at this orb of light that gives a little pulse, a little tiny pulse, and that gets slightly brighter. And it melts away. And you see what's behind it. Tall, magnificent, beautiful. A black stallion with a long black shining mane and yellow eyes stands on the cobblestones of the village here, and it taps its hoof on the ground, and you hear, and you have never wanted to ride a horse more in your life. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
That's not good.
Nope, and I'm forgetting what that's
It's a
called.
fucking Kelpie.
Yep, it's a Kelpie. Thank you. Yep, that's bad.
It's only bad if you can't breathe underwater.
I'm gonna tame it. I'm gonna have one. That's what I'm gonna.
Then I suppose it's a good thing it charmed Menda.
I am the only one I think that has the sky self. Do you have it, Travis? Or anybody?
No, I don't.
I'm referring to the
Yeah.
being able to breathe underwater bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm the only one that could have disguised myself.
That too.
Also, no, it's not a Kelpie.
Mm,
It's
what
so
is-
much worse.
I'm still gonna tame it.
You have to remember this is Kelpie are Norse.
No, Kelpie are.
Kelpie are Scottish.
Yeah.
What I'm pretty sure this is something that you can't say out loud because Kelpie can't go on land.
Mm.
So
Hell
I'm
yeah.
terrified. Way
have
to
a
go!
new
Start
steed.
swinging. Way to start swinging, Kyle.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Fae campaign, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Here's some Fae.
You want some Fae? All right, I'll give you some Fae.
The one they rolled the dice that I rolled were the ones that gave me them 18s and shit and the 20s and shit, and then the last one was a fucking 1.
That's rough, pal. That's rough. I can't wait to bail you out of this in 2 weeks.
First time for combat 2 weeks from now.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
You gotta wait 2 weeks for that.
It's a shame my snares were not fruitful.
That being said, I like how mine and Jacob and Vel's other group does it, which is where if somebody can't DM for a week, the other person just hops in. So if there's ever a time where Paul hasn't gotten as much prepped as he'd like to, I should be able to hop in and do a game, and I would hope I would offer the vice versa for Paul. If there's ever a time I can't DM or I haven't had time to prep,
Yeah.
I will at least offer it to you. You don't have to if you don't have anything prepped. It's
Yeah.
just- but that way we can still play instead of skipping a week.
I'm gonna let you guys know. You guys are gonna have real fun for a week in Turum.
Oh, I'm excited for Turum.
I'm so excited for Turum.
I have to
Got
finish my
7
tattoo.
days. You do have to finish tattoo.
I
Both of
get
you
it.
guys have to finish your tattoo.
I'm excited for that tat. Big excite for the tats.
I explained how I described the tattoo process to one of my coworkers, and they were like, "Oh, dude, that's kind of tight."
That's pretty tight. Pretty tight. I like it.
I'm so excited.
I was kind of hoping we'd get to the combat today, but
Yeah, there was the
we gotta have some
potential for it.
shenanigans.
Yeah, there was the potential for it, but
Yeah, I had to make sure that I got wet for an hour so I
Yeah,
don't
for
dry
sure.
out.
Absolutely love that I threw you for a loop with Speak with Animals.
oh yeah, I love that shit. That's great. And now you guys know what my mouse voice is, so
Mhm.
you know.
No, good to know.
All right.
Well,
Uh,
he's such a good time. He feeds me cheese and
was- You
kinda-
breadcrumbs.
It was
You kind of
very
sound
helpful.
like you kind of sound like Elmo.
A little bit.
Elmo likes it when Juniper feeds him. Elmo likes it when Juniper feeds him breadcrumbs and sometimes little pieces of cheese.
Okay,
I fucking can't.
I'm gonna go to
Elmo
bed,
loves
y'all.
it when that happens.
Paul.
Good night, Paul.
Bye.
Elmo will miss you.
Okay.
I am-
My headcanon is that Juniper now knew a mouse named Elmo.
Hi, Juniper. I was your childhood mouse. My name is Elmo. I was with a red russet field mouse. And when I turned 3 years old,